England players applaud. And now the handshakes. Senegal in the almost all green kit with the yellow trim move along the line, and the England players still in their white-bodied tracksuits with the red and blue sleeves. And that banner, by the way, a huge white banner right across the middle tier of the Trent end, the famous Nottingham Forest home end. It was white background, black writing, and it is in tribute to Viv Anderson, who I'm sure those older listeners will remember was recognised as the first black player to represent England, and he was part of the furniture here at Nottingham Forest in Brian Clough's European Cup winning team, and he is here inside the ground tonight, and I'm sure he'd be proud to see that banner which read, "From the streets of Clifton to the grass of Wembley, our Viv is a pioneer who inspired generation after generation." So a lovely tribute to Viv Anderson. The current Nottingham Forest captain, Morgan Gibbs-White, will have to wait for his moment here tonight. Thomas Tuchel has named him as a substitute. But this is the England side this evening. Dean Henderson gets a go in goal, his third cap. Kyle Walker wins his 96th at right back. Trevor Chalobah makes his debut alongside his Chelsea teammate Levi Colwell, and the teenager Miles Lewis-Skelly, it's his third cap at left back. Then in midfield, Conor Gallagher, who wasn't in the 23 on Saturday in Barcelona against Andorra. He's in the starting lineup with Declan Rice. Bukayo Saka, like Conor Gallagher, is going to be playing under Tuchel for the first time. Anthony Gordon on the left, and then Eberici Eze and Harry Kane, the captain, who's just exchanged pennants with Kalidou Koulibaly, the Senegal captain. Their team, some familiar faces there for Thomas Tuchel as well. Koulibaly and Mendy, the goalkeeper, former Chelsea players. Diatta at right back, Niakate, who is coming back to Nottingham Forest in central defence. El Hadji Malik Diouf is the left back. Then Idrissa Gana Gueye of Everton, Lamine Camara, Habib Diarra in midfield with Ismail Assar of Crystal Palace, Iliman Ndiaye, another Everton man, and another Chelsea man, Nicholas Jackson, through the middle. So Michael Brown and Leon Osman are with us for the commentary. Quick thought, Leon, before we get underway.
Yeah, I'm expecting a much better and much exciting game than we saw against Andorra at the weekend. An opportunity for, first of all, the players who have been given the opportunity tonight to perform well, but also another chance for Thomas Tuchel to look at this squad of players to see who he feels is capable of playing the type of football, the style of football that he wants to bring to this England team moving forward.
So England are lining up. They're going to play from left to right in the first half. England, who have lost only 2 of their last 16 internationals. Senegal, ranked 19th in the world, who in their last 27 internationals have lost only on penalties to Ivory Coast at the Africa Cup of Nations, and a friendly against Algeria. So this is significantly better opposition for England than in Thomas Tuchel's first 3 matches, on paper at least. The City ground is absolutely resplendent as referee Stephanie Frappard blows the whistle, and Senegal kick off here and immediately play the ball back towards their edge of their own penalty area. So yes, the City ground, and England's senior men's international for the first time for 116 years. Only the second time that the England senior men's team have played here. And Senegal on the attack early on, the ball played through the middle, and Dean Henderson had to be sharp there, quickly out of his penalty area, all in yellow, to get his right foot to it and clear it away downfield.
Oh, well, the pitch looks fantastic even after the season's finished. The crowd look very expectant. It looks great to see all of these England white shirts here at the City ground. And so far it's been a good start from Senegal, the way they took the ball at the back, the way they've moved it through midfield, nearly getting Nicholas Jackson through on goal, but sharp play from Henderson.
Very good point that about all the England replica shirts, but it is Senegal who are breaking away. The ball played down the right hand side, and Iliman Ndiaye of Everton plays the ball into the England penalty area, and already in the opening seconds we've seen more intent from this Senegal side than we did from Andorra, and a weak shot from 25 yards that's straight at Henderson, who's able to collect it quite comfortably.
Yeah, really good play right through the middle of England. Diarra, Kamara able to get into good positions in that middle of the pitch, just off the shoulder of Gallagher and Rice, picking up the ball, getting into spaces, driving forward, and actually a disappointing cross from Iliman Ndiaye once they got into that final third from Senegal just let England breathe again. But the point was Senegal attacked there actually, and the disappointing thing was Harry Kane again, right at the start of the game, was on the edge of his own penalty area, picking up the ball. We've got to be braver. He's got to remain the top end of the field.
It was the Everton man, an Everton midfielder, just like the man used to be sitting to my right, who hit the shot in the end, but it was weakly hit. Idrissa Gana Gueye winning his 121st cap for Senegal tonight, which is a national record. Scored the 7 goals in his time, but that was never going to trouble Dean Henderson. And interesting that Ismaila Sarr started up towards the left-hand side and Iliman Ndiaye towards the right for Senegal. But England, are we calling it 4-4-1-1 or are we calling it 4-4-2? Here's Kyle Walker just allowing the ball to drop between him and Malik Diouf. They call him Malik, and it's out of play for a throw to England.
Yeah, it looks more like a 4-2-4 at the moment. Anthony Gordon staying really high on the left. Bukayo Saka is, I think the ball is on this side of the field, so he is a little deeper than the other three at the moment. But it does look like a front four rather than anything.
Ball is thrown back to Dean Henderson, winning his 3rd cap tonight. Played earlier on this season under Lee Carsley in the match in Helsinki, which England won 3-1. And here for the first time under Thomas Tuchel is Bukayo Saka, who has 3 Senegal players around him, and they force the contact off Saka and out of play for a throw into Senegal on the halfway line. The former African champions, they were the African champions when England played them at the World Cup in Qatar back in 2022, and England won quite handsomely that day, didn't they, in the end, coming through with goals from Jordan Henderson and Kane and Saka. Long pass. This is for Ismaila Sarr to chase, but Walker's able to come across and get to the ball, and actually under pressure from him just passes it out of play for a Senegal throw on the left.
They've got good shape, Senegal, when in possession of the ball. When they're defending, it's definitely a back four. It's a midfield three and a front three with the 2 wide players dropping a little deeper. But in possession, the fullbacks go really high and advanced, especially Diouf on this side of the field, and it just makes them really high, really wide. Then you can get Sarr and Ndiaye coming into better spaces.
Well played by Anthony Gordon, wins the ball back from Diatta, now plays it through to Kane. Kane looking over his shoulder and didn't see the covering challenge coming from Diatta, who lost it in the first place, and Senegal have got it back. But excellent harrying from Anthony Gordon on the halfway line. And Senegal come again with Iliman Ndiaye down the right hand side. He beats Conor Gallagher. Ndiaye running direct through the middle, slips the ball to the right, and the shot is blocked. Jackson with the effort from the angle and blocked by the legs of Dean Henderson.
2 teams counter-attacking each other there. England taking the opportunity from this pretty balanced 4-4-2 setup to get at Senegal initially, and Harry Kane just not making the most of the England counter-attack. But Iliman Ndiaye nearly creating the first goal there for Senegal. Good shot, really good save from Henderson, but England just got caught out there, slightly exposed.
4 minutes played. Thomas Tuchel wanted his team to have a test. They've already got it.
Yeah, definitely a team that has come here to play, come here to take the ball, really go toe-to-toe. They've started better, Senegal.
Senegal attacking towards the Trent end, the 2-tier Trent end. 30,000 sellout it is tonight as the throw comes into the penalty area. Koulibaly heads it on, a looping header, and Henderson was fouled, challenged by his teammate Ismaila Sarr, and it's a free kick to England that they take quickly. Let's get an early word for the first time since the match began from Michael Brown.
Yeah, an interesting start to the game. Iliman Ndiaye down that right hand side, he's very, very strong. You underestimate what strength he has. He just takes it away from Miles Lewis-Skelly. He does so well, doesn't he, with that reverse pass. But just looking at England in the build-up, they're just a little bit hesitant at the start. Certainly in possession, they've tried to get those 4 right to the top of the pitch and trying to be positive and to have an outcome. I think when you've got the legs of Gallagher and Declan Rice, it allows you to do that. But you do know that those 2 wide players are going to have to tuck in wherever possible and give support.
5 live, 6 minutes played. England 0, Senegal 0. If you're on the move on this lovely night, then you can take us with you on BBC Sounds and listen on there. Thomas Tuchel looks a little concerned already. Stepped forward, put his blue padded sleeveless gilet on as he walked forward. He's got his blue baseball cap on as well, and I think the England players will know as well that they're in a test here tonight already. Dean Henderson already making that save from Jackson, but here's Saka on the right hand side for England. First time he's attacked the penalty area, but The left back, Malik, has done well, and then Lamine Camara of Monaco loses it. Eza has got it, gives it to Gallagher. Lovely change of feet. Gordon with a shot, saved by Mendy, and Kane is there to tuck it in. And there's no flag. And Harry Kane on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mendy couldn't hold the shot from Gordon, and Harry Kane loves those. And he gobbles it up with his left foot for the England captain to score his 73rd goal for England, and he scored in all 4 matches under the new coach Thomas Tuchel, and no one's done that before, to score in the first 4 matches for a new England manager. England already 1-0 up.
Yeah, and this one couldn't have been easier for him. Striker's dream. I mean, he's got the goal by just being in a very good position, right in the centre of the goal, just off the keeper in case anything spills back. But this is a goal that England haven't been able to produce so far under Thomas Tuchel. The opposition trying to play out from the back. You set it up well. Conor Gallagher in particular starts the press, just pushes I think it was Kamara into an area he didn't want to be in possession of the ball. That meant he ran near Eze. Eze could stick a leg out. Suddenly the press is working. England win the ball and they've got bodies forward. Conor Gallagher, quick to react, gets into a good position, just passes it out to the left-hand side. It was a pretty decent effort from Anthony Gordon that made the keeper fumble it into a lovely space for Harry Kane, but good pressure that brought that goal rather than exciting play. It's the first time I've been able to see that, and a brilliant positional awareness from Harry Kane to get an easy goal.
Yep, he wanted the hunger, Thomas Tuchel, and that was a hungry press that England put on Lamine Camara. Eza, the man who won it back. Michael Brown, when we were in Barcelona on Saturday night, that's what England needed against Andorra.
Yeah,
they've got it here against Senegal.
They did, the intensity, the press. Gallagher went from one side and that allowed Eze to put the pressure in, but what Gallagher then did straight away, he continued his run. Then there was an out, Gordon in and around, he should do better really with his effort. Disappointment from Mendy, but Harry Kane again, wherever he is in that 6-yard area, it just seems to fall for him. It's an art and a simple tap-in.
Yep. Scored in all 4 under Thomas Tuchel, actually scored in Lee Carsley's last match as well. So that is 5 matches in a row that he scored for England. It's remarkable over the time that he has produced goals for England, you know, how regularly he's put together spells like that. But now England have lost possession, and it is with Idrissa Gana Gueye. And then it goes back towards the right back area on the far side. Northern Ireland in action again tonight, also a friendly international, and John Southall is keeping tabs on it.
Yeah, good evening, John. 12 minutes played, Northern Ireland 0, Iceland 0. Not much between these two in the opening exchanges. We've had a Shea Charles header from 12 yards out, half a chance which went wide. Northern Ireland 0, Iceland 0.
Malik with a cross from the left hand side from Senegal, but Colwell's up to head that away, and England have got it on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Anthony Gordon, whose shot set up the goal. I think Edouard Mendy could have done better, and Henderson had to be quick there at the other end, the England goalkeeper, and Miles Lewis-Squelly draws a foul and wins a free kick for England in the left back position. Yes, Edouard Mendy at the other end.
Just dawdled on the ball there. Sorry, Dean Henderson there just nearly allowed pressure onto him, onto his toes there. England nearly getting in trouble, but I'm just slight concern at the moment. Johnny, you go.
Here's Malik again, he gives it square, and then the shot, Henderson is able to get up, make the save, and he knocked it up in the air and then caught the rebound. Habib Diarra with the effort from 25 yards, so another save for Henderson. 3 saves. Here's Declan Rice now, that's a good ball down the left flank. Anthony Gordon of Newcastle is able to take on Diatta, goes to the byline, and as the defender dives in, blocks it behind. Corner England.
Yeah, the way England are doing it at the moment, I spoke it looked like a 4-2-4 system. They aren't getting real height and width from Anthony Gordon and Bukayo Saka, and what's happening in the central position is Kane and Eze are both dropping quite deep either side. It's like a box of 4 if you have them two, and then Conor Gallagher and Declan Rice, and it's just asking questions of whether those Senegal centre-halves step into that position. But what it does mean at times is England are very deep when they first win the ball back. It is up to Anthony Gordon on that occasion and Saka to burst forward. Gordon did it brilliantly there and actually ended up winning England a corner.
Declan Rice gets a good hand down there in the corner from the supporters in the Bridgeford stand, and he's going to take this corner right-footed from way over there in the distance. Rice raises his left arm, but referee Frappard has spotted something in the 6-yard box that she's not happy with, and she's actually going to trot across and have a word with, well, who is it in there? Trevor Chalobah is there, and she gives, I think, possibly a ticking off to Musa Niakate. So Rice sets himself to take this corner from the England left, so it's a right-footed in swinger. Harry Kane waiting near the penalty spot. Here's the delivery from Rice into the edge of the 6-yard area. Colwell was after it, was headed up and partly away, bounces down into the right back position, and it is volleyed away towards the halfway line. So if you just switched onto us, England already 1-0 up, but they're getting a test here against Senegal. Harry Kane scoring the goal in the 7th minute on the occasion of what is the England captain's 107th cap. So he moves level with Ashley Cole, and he's moved ahead of Bobby Charlton and Frank Lampard in the caps list for England internationals. Ashley Cole, who is out in Slovakia with Lee Carsley and the under-21s, and we will be bringing you commentary on England's matches at the European Under-21 Championships starting on Thursday night. So on Thursday night, 5 Live Sport, the Athletics from Oslo will be on there. So that Under-21 match will start on Sports Extra, but then we'll move on to 5 Live. In England's group, Serbia have taken the lead 1-0 against Andorra. Ball over the top for Gordon to chase, but right back Giatta was able to get something on that and put it out of play.
Oh, that might seem like a long ball, but England have got to start introducing that more into the game. They just play across the field and slow build-up all the time. The opposition just start to expect it. Suddenly, if Anthony Gordon and Saka in particular are making those dart runs, if you're brave enough to play it, suddenly the opposition have to start thinking about, do we go in, do we drop off? We can't necessarily go and squeeze in midfield now. We've got to drop away in case they go over the top. And yes, we ended up winning a throw-in rather than getting in on goal, but that just adds that thought process into the opposition defence.
Yep, so Andorra already 1-0 down tonight against Serbia. Bukayo Saka, actually there was a slip there from Malik, who I don't think he was caught by Saka, and he was rather fortunate there that Saka wasn't able to take that on, otherwise he would have been clean away.
Yeah, his slip just actually put Bukayo Saka off his stride. He looked like he was going to try and bring it down, and then that slip really just made him take his eyes off it. But here England again on the press.
Yeah, good pressing from Gallagher. Bounces back into the full-back position where Lamine Camara just swings the ball away to the far side. Iliman and Giles do well to keep that in. He has kept it in, actually. He's up against Lewis Skelly. Then the run from deep from Habib Diarra down the right wing. He goes. Iliman and Giles still available. Ball played into Jackson inside the penalty area. Colwell goes tight on him. Back now, and a swivel from Camara. Malik's cross. The header is well saved. Ismail Assar got up 8 yards out, headed it down, and Henderson athletically, this time almost at full stretch to his right, pushes it round the post.
Yeah, good football from Senegal, and that's the second occasion Diouf on this left side of the pitch from left back has got into a really good position for Senegal and put a wonderful cross in. As you said, Ismail Assar with an actually decent header gets it on target. It's a save I'd expect Henderson to make. It's a save I think he should be getting comfortably, but still he had to make it.
Here's the Senegal corner, which is headed away by Harry Kane. Actually bounces back into the England box. They haven't completely cleared it, although it's been almost nipped back by Gallagher. In fact, it's played in by Senegal but overhit, and that's an easy one for Kyle Walker just to see out of play next to the corner flag. England 1, Senegal 0. 15 minutes played here at the City Ground, Nottingham. Good save from Henderson, from his teammate, his clubmate, his fellow FA Cup winner.
Yeah, I think when you're playing against better opposition, you are going to concede chances. I think there are moments where they'll show their quality, and I think when you're pushing up, trying to show what you can do, you are going to give something up at the other end of the pitch. And at those moments, you do need your goalkeeper to make saves. You do need your defenders to make tackles. What England need to make sure is that this isn't a regular thing. It doesn't happen every 5 minutes or so in the game.
Harry Kane collects the ball inside his own half and then swings a pass out towards the left-hand side, just put it in the space, and Gordon was there, and then Gordon was challenged by Giatta, went down, classic Gordon style, winning a free kick near the left corner of the box.
Yeah, but he's in a really good position, as I said, high and wide on that left-hand side. So when Harry Kane drops into those positions, 10 yards inside his own, his own half, gets on the ball, gets turned. He's got someone to pick out. He's got a wonderful crossfield diagonal pass which actually gets Anthony Gordon down the side of the penalty area, and then that's where you want him, picking the ball up, getting in a 1v1 position. As you said, he just slows down and then adds a bit of speed to his play, knocks it to his right past Diatta, and no doubt Diatta brings him down. He's fortunate it's just outside the penalty area, and England have a free kick, and Diatta gets a yellow card.
Yeah, he's booked him for that, Leon. And I mean, he did catch him, actually. So it's
yeah, it was as much about the position he was into. Once he stepped past there, he was able to either get a shot on goal, pick a teammate out. A really dangerous position as far as England were concerned.
So it's a free kick to England. Good position. It's in the Senegal right full-back area. England already 1-0 up after that 6-yard box goal from Harry Kane. And this is going to be taken in by both Rice and Saka are over there. So possibly the in-swinger from Rice, who's, as he often does when he's got a set piece like this, hitches up one side of his shorts. So he waits, signal from Rice, he runs up and he does drive it in low, and it rattles around. Unfortunately for Senegal, bounces for them on the edge of the box. Dean Henderson comes right almost to the halfway line to collect the ricochet, and then Eza plays it back into his own half to Dean Henderson. The England goalkeeper has been very much in evidence, hasn't he, tonight, with his saves and his footwork. You know, he's got the look of a man who's getting an opportunity, and my goodness, he's going to take it. Kane plays a pass forward, but Gordon won't reach that, and Edouard Mendy comes out of his box and is able to swing one away downfield.
Yeah, again, that's the benefit of having people beyond Harry Kane. You know, it's one thing to say we need to keep him high and up the pitch, as I was at the start of the game, but he has a natural tendency to drop deeper. As long as when he does drop deeper and gets turned, he's got something to aim, something to try and pass the ball to. Anthony Gordon's been his outlet so far. Picked him out the first time, unable to get him that time.
Long ball from Senegal. This is for the midfielder Habib Diarra to chase, but that bounces through to Henderson. So 1-0 to England here. Still Northern Ireland 0, Iceland 0. Also Luxembourg 0, Republic of Ireland 0 in another friendly international. Senegal were in Dublin last week. Ended up a 1-1 draw. Ismail Assar actually scored the late equaliser for Senegal in that match, and Declan Rice here just passes the ball out of play, passed it behind his clubmate Saka and out for a throw. And there is a choice of listening right now, by the way, the third T20 international between England and the West Indies. You can hear that on Sports Extra on your digital radio, or even better on BBC Sounds. Here is Senegal with Niakate playing it to Malik, and there's a ball into the England penalty area, which is far too close to Henderson, who's able to make a comfortable catch. Let's bring in Michael Brown again for another thought. Almost 20 minutes played, Michael.
Yeah, it's good intent, isn't there? But you look at the Senegal back line really high, so England obviously worked on it, drawing the press in. Front three are trying to press and put England under pressure, but soon as that'll be Harry Kane or anybody get on that half turn, away they go into the wide players. But they are dangerous. I think what I've noticed straight away is Senegal want to break fast, they want to cross very, very quickly. That's where they've showed some intent, some danger. But it's been a good start to the game, much more things happening, much more confidence in the play. Henderson's getting a lot of ball. Here he is again.
Yes, he is, just passing the ball out.
He's probably had the most touches of the whole England team so far, hasn't he? Both defensively to bring the ball in, but also just to show where England's majority of the passing and play has been. It's Dean Henderson a lot of touches.
Kane wins it back, and now Gallagher takes it on, and he gives it to his right to Saka. Lovely footwork from Saka, trying to find a position. There was a challenge on him which just took the ball away. A crucial challenge from Niakate near the edge of the penalty area, and England go back towards the halfway line. The sunshine on the Bridgeford stand to our right. It's a real summer scene here. Short sleeve shirts everywhere, as I mentioned, so many replica shirts, and it is actually, this has been designated by as the England Shirt Day in association with the Bobby Moore Fund. So charities, the Bobby Moore Fund charity is benefiting from people who've pledged to wear their England shirts tonight. I know Russell from the Three Lines podcast has been the main mover behind that. So just about everywhere you look, it seems like every other person's wearing a replica shirt. Here's Kane back into Conor Gallagher with his blonde hair lightened by the Spanish sun, tied up behind his head, plays it forward to Eza, who is then fouled by Idrissa Gana Gueye, and it's a free kick to England just to the right of the centre circle.
Yeah, they've been rotating well so far. Richard Eze and Harry Kane, both of them had wanting to come into these deeper positions rather than stretching long, but it's very rare I've seen them both come for the ball at the same time. And you know, Idrissa Gueye is trying to play in that role just in front of those two centre halves for Senegal, but he's finding it difficult which one to pick up. Kane's coming off one shoulder, 1 second, he's trying to get across, and then they're working it quite well. Kane will turn away and Eze will come in on the other side, and he's finding it difficult to get across both of those positions.
In England's group, Serbia have doubled their lead. Alexander Mitrovic has scored his second goal of the match there, and Latvia 0, Albania 0 in the other match in England's group. But it was a bonus for England on Saturday night, after the disappointment of the performance, to hear that Serbia and Albania had drawn 0-0 in Serbia's first qualifier. England trying to play the ball out from the back. Thomas Tuchel likes that, applauds above his head. England still moving forward with Conor Gallagher, and then it's across to Chalobah on his England debut, and England continue to build halfway through the first half here on BBC 5 Live. And here's Ian Dennis to take you through the half-time.
Thank you, John. He's been quite an animated figure, I've got to say, Thomas Tuchel, as he watches England play in their white shirts and navy shorts from left to right. At times they've been quite scruffy in possession. He was unhappy with Miles Lewis-Skelly losing the ball a couple of times on the left-hand side. When Gallagher had won the ball and he had that option to go Gordon to the left or Saka to the right, he turned around in frustration when it didn't go to Gordon by him not getting his head up. As Chalobah now, the debutant, lifts it forward, Niakate brings it down off his chest and then cuts it back into the central defensive partner path of Koulibaly, as Senegal, all in green with that yellow trim, are attacking the Trent End, for those of you who know the City Ground here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've been playing for 23 minutes. England are leading by a 1-0, and the pace of Senegal has just noticeably dropped too.
Yeah, it has. I mean, you know, at the start of the game they were quite quick with their tempo. They were playing through the lines. Their speed of passing more than anything else was getting them into really good positions. But you know, I think the press from England, I think the fact that they've been able to have spells of possession themselves and keep Senegal having to chase them for moments has just took the edge off what is a very possessional based team in Senegal. Now they're having to be without the ball. Just seeing a different side of them.
Let's get an update from the cricket, the T20, Nikesh Ragani.
Yeah, third T20 international here. England leading the series 2-0. Batting first, they've just finished their innings on 248 for 3. Ben Duckett top scoring with 84. Half century for Jamie Smith as well, and contributions across the top 5. So the West Indies will need a mammoth 249 to win when they get their reply underway in around 10 minutes' time.
Commentary on Sports Extra, and indeed there are highlights of that from 11 o'clock tonight on BBC 2 and also the BBC iPlayer. Got to say, while we're away at the cricket, Chalobah of Chelsea jumped over his club teammate Nicholas Jackson, and a free kick was awarded in favour of England. And you had the Senegal delegation in the director's box just in front of us, jumping up in unison in frustration and disgust.
They had every right to be disappointed with the decision. It was just a poor decision, it seemed, from Chalobah just misjudged the ball as it came forward, and Jackson just let him go underneath the ball. He didn't really shove him, he didn't push him, he just stepped away and allowed Chalobah to misjudge his header, and then he brought the ball down, and he would have been through on goal. But the referee, for her part, she gave England a free kick, and Chalobah very fortunate that was the case.
Just a slight stoppage. Colwell had picked up a little bit of a knock. It'll be a free kick to England that Henderson will take all in yellow. Strikes it right-footed after the early excitement and that goal of Harry Kane after 7 minutes. It's fallen a little flat inside the City Ground. Trevor Chalobah, who, along with Nathaniel, now become the 21st set of brothers who have played for England, from Charlie and William Clegg in the 1870s, Bobby and Jack Charlton, of course, Phil and Gary Neville, and now the Chalobahs. So I'm sure the Chalobah family must be extremely proud. And already Trevor has managed to outperform Nathaniel, who's actually got one of the shortest England careers in history, of 6 minutes and 54 seconds when he played against Spain in Seville in 2018. In fact, there are only two players who've had shorter England careers, and one of them was a former Nottingham Forest player in Peter Ward back in 1980, if you wish to cast your mind that far
I
back.
should have saved that for the quiz. I don't know.
Is there a quiz?
Well, I presume so. You're not doing a quiz or anything tonight? Not a good question for us. Usually to try and entertain me.
Well, I was hoping that the England players might do that, and I'm sure that Thomas Tuchel will be hoping as well that, you know, he was quite critical about the lack of attitude, the way that it dropped off the last 15 of the first half, the last 20-25 minutes of that second half against Andorra. England haven't been able to build on that goal, and indeed Senegal have actually created the better opportunities. I'm sure if Edward Mendy had not spilled it, England haven't been able to really create too much other since that goal from Kane after 7 minutes. Gallagher to Chalobah. Trevor Chalobah comes forward, gets a shove in the back from Jackson, finds it towards Saka. I expected Saka to see more of the ball. There was a spell 5-6 minutes ago where Anthony Barry made a beeline to the touchline, had a word with Saka and got the impression he wanted to attack at Malik, the left back, more. As a cross is played in, Gordon coming in at the far post and spoons it wide. That should have been 2-0. There's a great ball whipped in from the right, and Gordon, stumbling, has put it probably about a foot wide of the left-hand post.
Oh, I'm not sure how he's missed. I don't know if he's worried about the contact from on the fullback Diatta to try and stop him just having a tap in. It's a wonderful bit of play from England. Bukayo Saka coming inside where we know he's at his best, getting turned. Kyle Walker on the overlap, plays him out wide, and Kyle Walker puts a delicious ball. It's probably a yard, 2 yards inside the 6-yard box as Anthony Gordon makes contact on line with the back post on his strong foot, his right foot, as he comes onto it, and he just doesn't get enough purchase, not enough contact. The direction of his foot, the angle, is just away from goal rather than really punching it into the back of the goal. It should be a tap-in. It should be England 2-0 up. It's brilliant play. First time, as you said, we've really seen England really cut open this Senegal defence.
And Michael, that was something that we didn't see in Barcelona at the weekend, where the fullbacks provide width.
Well, we didn't, did we? It was Saka was a good position initially. Walker tried to get in first time, but I just couldn't get it. It's a Senegal attack. But great ball in, and Leon, I think you're being a bit kind on him. That is a massive, massive miss. I've had hindsight to see it a couple of more times, but you'd be so disappointed with that.
So England should be 2-0 up, but as it is, they still only lead by a goal to nil. Here is Lamine Camara in the midfield. Malik, the left back, out towards this near side for Ismail Assar, who had that header that was saved very, very well by Dean Henderson. 10 changes, remember, that Thomas Tuchel has made for England tonight. Leon Osman.
Yeah, you know, just talking about the way I feel England had set up with Anthony Gordon really high and wide on the left and Bukayo Saka really high and wide on the right. It's definitely suiting Anthony Gordon just because of the way he wants to run without the ball, the way when Harry Kane picks the ball up, he's directing his efforts over there. It's natural for him to play and just whip it out to that left-hand side. And Bukayo Saka's not really touched it as much because he's being high and wide, but that was the first time we've seen him step in to a good position, step into those positions. We know where he's very good, just off the line, asking fullbacks whether they should come with him or stay deep, and that's why England created that opportunity.
Well, Nicholas Jackson is up against two of his Chelsea teammates who are the two central defenders tonight, and Levi Colwill, who just catching Jackson, has just been shown a yellow card by our referee tonight, Stephanie Frappart. So that is the second yellow card of the evening. And Colwill, whose last cap was against Greece back in October, so his first outing under Thomas Tuchel, has just received a yellow card, and it will be a free kick to Senegal. It's over 30 yards out from goal. Senegal trailing by a goal to nil. England have their white shirts on the edge of the penalty area. Senegal are attacking the Trent end. In it comes now, and goes over a crowd of players as Morgan Gibbs-White gets a loud cheer from the Forest supporters who are in the main stand here at the City Ground tonight. Morgan Gibbs-White maybe would have wanted to have started on his home ground. I know that Moussa Niakhaté yesterday was talking as a former Forest player, saying how much of a dream it is to represent his country at one of his former venues. And indeed it is Moussa Niakhaté who will launch this throw in from the left hand side. Chalobah climbed well and headed away and flicked on by Kane and then lifted into the air by Saka, and now Saka tries to come forward, but Malik will tidy up the left back all the way back to Edouard Mendy. with that luminous orange goalkeeping outfit, as Latvia 0, Albania 1 is a latest score in Group K. So we know that Serbia are leading Andorra 2-0. It means that Albania, if it stays like that, would move to 7 points, 2 points behind England, and Serbia would go to 4, albeit with a game in hand. Henderson chips the ball forward, Koulibaly heads it away for Senegal, and then there's an unnecessary shove from Gallagher. The referee lets the game play on, up towards Jackson. Chalobah comes across, snuffs out the chance. It's a Senegal throw on this near side.
He's defended well, Chalobah. I was a cross that come in from that free kick moments before, and it was his head that touched the ball, jumped bigger than everyone else when he had Kate coming in behind him on occasion. Senegal trying to get Jackson free, just read it well, stepped into the good position. Got in between him and Kyle Walker, but read the danger well.
Sark curls the ball out towards that far side. This is Diarra. Diarra then plays the ball back. Just before that, I just saw Colwell have a little nibble at Iliman and Jai as the ball is now worked to the left, and Malik time to fire this one in, which he does, and Walker was there, and it's a good clearance away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Malik tries to win it back, but unfairly so, and as he forces Saka to the ground, it'll be a free kick to England. What have you made of England in the last 5 minutes or so, Michael Brown?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've wanted to play out. I think it's interesting how many passes and how many chances they're taking with the two pairings in Colwell and Chalobah into Henderson, and having coming into the England signing, having the confidence to play it into midfield, to receive it back. It takes a little bit of courage, and I think he started the game well. So I think the shape's been good. I think the energy, which was what we talked about at the weekend, wasn't so much there. I think Gallagher naturally sets that off, doesn't he? Infectious, just tries to get around people, but I think he's got to be really pleased. I think the body language of Tuchel is interesting. He wasn't out in the technical area at all at the weekend, and he's not sat down today.
Ball goes long, Koulibaly touches it back, hesitation from Edouard Mendy. He almost showed too much of that to Gordon. He really did misjudge the pace of the ball as it was running towards him, but meanwhile Sarr gets away from a sliding challenge from Gallagher. Sarr will run forward. He's already made one mistake, Edouard Mendy, and he could so easily have made another, as there's been a goal. Northern Ireland, Iceland, John Southall.
And Northern Ireland have it. Northern Ireland 1, Iceland 0. Brilliant goal from Isaac Price, 20 yards out, shaped it into the bottom right hand corner. 9th for his country. Northern Ireland 1, Iceland 0.
That is live on BBC Two Northern Ireland, and also available on the BBC iPlayer, as we have just over 10 minutes to go to half time, where England is still leading by a goal to nil. They are yet to lose to African opposition in 21 previous games against 9 other sides other than Senegal. Of course, they met Senegal in the World Cup in Qatar and won by 3-0. But since then, actually, Senegal have only lost on one occasion out of the subsequent 27 matches since that World Cup defeat. So they arrive here very much in good form. 1-1 draw against the Republic of Ireland last Friday. They fell behind in that game to Casey McAteer in the first half. Ismail Assar got the equaliser late on, and they've shown enough intent.
Yeah, you can see they're a team that know exactly what they're doing. They're a team that know the patterns of play, they know the movements. You can see when one person gets the ball or one certain pass is made, there's 3 different movements all in unison, and you can see it's benefited them. They're a team that do like possession of the ball, they do like runners. England, with that 4-4-2, have defended okay so far.
Got runners here as well. One of them is Iliman Jai into the penalty area, inside left channel, pulls it back slightly away from Idrissa Gana. Gave it, did very well to get the shot away right-footed, but what an excellent reflex save that was from Dean Henderson, because he'll have seen that late, but he was down very, very sharp to his right. That's the 3rd important save that the England keeper has made tonight.
Yeah, and it was a late one, wasn't it? He saw it really late. It came through a body of players and just reacted to it. Fortunate that it's close enough for him to be able to get something on it. But yeah, it was Idrissa Gueye that the ball was just away from him. He couldn't run onto it first time once Iliman Ndiaye played it into his path. He had to take a touch. He was under pressure from, I think it was Richard Eze, who tried to get back to stop him having a clean effort, and Senegal are asking the referee. They thought it should have been a penalty kick. They thought there was enough contact from Eze. I don't think there was.
No.
I think it was just enough that put him off without really bringing him to ground, and it gave Henderson the opportunity to make the save, and again, as you say, I just mentioned before, I think England have defended okay, but Senegal are creating chances.
Yeah, they are. They've definitely created more chances than England. But I think, Michael, the way it was going away from goal with his first touch, and then he cut it back right-footed on the angle, that made it a very, very good save from Henderson.
I think what it was, he was unsighted as well. I think it went through the legs of Declan Rice, and he had to step back on that left foot across to change that body angle down to his right-hand side. It was a good save. Lucky, really, that Iliman Ndiaye, very clever in his pass, just went away from Sagana Gay, and that lost the momentum. Bit of contact from Eze as well, which was important.
Thomas Tuchel, who's at the weekend, despite all the negativity, did become the first England manager to win his opening 3 competitive games without conceding a goal. But certainly Henderson and that English goal has been threatened tonight by Senegal. We have 7 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 live and also available on the BBC Sounds app. Chalobah lifts it forward. Saka just got a little touch there from Niakate, which just put him a little bit off balance. Now this is Camara. He was being fouled by Gallagher, and that'll be a free kick to Senegal.
I don't think there's any doubt in my mind, 37 minutes in, that this system, this style is not suiting arguably our most creative player over the past couple of seasons, Bukayo Saka. He's playing really high, he's having to compete for balls, he's running onto things rather than dropping off and getting it to feet and creating something that way. Do you think Harry Kane's enjoying himself, but not getting the best of Saka?
Iliman Ndiaye over on that far side, the right, with his trickery, away from Gordon, runs forward, keeping the ball tight to him. Gallagher then lifts it down out towards that far side, the left. Gordon just lays it forward. This is Eze, able to turn. He's just short of the halfway line as England play from left to right. Still leading through that early goal from Harry Kane as they get a free kick, and then the ball is cleared away over on that far side unnecessarily by Habib Diarra, who, well, I think in the scouting fraternity, because he plays for Chelsea's one of the feeder clubs, Strasbourg. It's only a matter of time, I think, before we see him in the Premier League at Chelsea. This 21-year-old midfielder who's come up through the youth product and has done very, very well for them in 4 seasons.
He's done okay tonight. He's figured quite heavily in most of Senegal's best bits.
Malik's done well on the left-hand side. He feeds it towards Sarr, and Sarr cuts it back, and Malik had continued his run. And it required Declan Rice running back with real pace into the England penalty area to clatter the ball out of play for a throw. This game is far from secure, as although England are leading, Senegal are still carrying a real threat. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Koulibaly out towards Ndiaye. Lets it settle. Runs back a little bit, midway through the England half. Koulibaly outside the centre circle. His forward ball. This now is Jackson. Jackson able to come to a standstill and just strokes it to Moussa Niakate. Didn't have the best of times during his period at the City Ground. In 2 years, just 37 appearances. Now plays in Lyon in France as Jackson hooks it goalwards, and Ismail Assar reacts to it and continues his fine form. That's 8 goals in 8 games now for club and country, and for the first time England's Thomas Tuchel concede. But you've got to say Senegal thoroughly deserve it. They were sharp, they were alert, and they're level at 1-1.
It's a really good goal from, as far as Senegal are concerned. It's really poor from England, in particular Kyle Walker. I mean, I've really enjoyed the way Senegal have mixed their game up. I mean, they've really caused England problems by sometimes coming short, sometimes going long. This ball is one clipped over the top. England defenders have been asked to go in short a lot of the times. This time, Nicholas Jackson just spins over the top, gets in behind Colwill. Chalobah has to go over. It's a lovely floated ball in there, and he gets in there, Jackson, just before the byline, and Kyle Walker just goes to sleep. Jackson's got one thing he can do. He can only just help that across into the middle of the 6-yard box, and at that moment Ismail Assar's got probably 6 or 7 yards to catch up Kyle Walker before he can even get past him. and he just puts the burners on, and Kyle Walker still, until he goes past him, he's just watching. He's not even ready to react to the fact that the ball could be put into a dangerous position. And once he realises it's just too late, he's never going to be able to recover. Ismaila Sarr gets in and it's a simple finish.
Walker now caught in possession, and Jackson tries to roll it out towards this near side to exploit the gap left by Kyle Walker. They deserve that, Michael.
Yeah, they have. They've been pushing. I'm just looking before, they had 4 right across the top line, so they're not afraid to get bodies forward. They're squeezing the pitch. Defence are pushing up, putting pressure on England, but that's just that one direct ball. Kyle Walker steps up, looks across the line, but then as Jackson goes towards the byline, he thinks he's running out. You can't at this level. He hooks it back across, and when you stop and wait, the pace of Sarr is going to be inside you with a simple and comfortable finish into the corner. So even with the experience, you can get caught out, and at international football, you've always got to be a step ahead.
Do you think, Leon, that England need to change the formation? I mean, it's slightly strange to see a German going with a traditional England formation of 4-4-2, but I'm just thinking in the midfield, do they need to try and get an extra body in there?
I'm not sure it's actually a 4-4-2, because I keep saying that, it's a 4-2-2-2, as to throw numbers out there, because, Saka's not playing where he wants to play. Harry Kane's not playing in a traditional centre-forward position.
Walker's forward cross takes a deflection, caught by Mendes, he dives forward.
Declan Rice and Conor Gallagher are playing really deep, really behind the ball. Rice, who's been at his best by getting into pockets and positions and driving forward, hasn't been able to get beyond the ball at all this evening. Eze's played right up front at times, and then he's come deep at times. He's not really been able to go and really get that space on his own, and leaving Harry Kane up front, him coming in number 10. Senegal have been more comfortable in this tactical battle. Their system so far, I feel, has got the upper hand against what England are trying to do.
Luxembourg 0, Republic of Ireland 0 is a half-time score in another friendly international. In this friendly here at the City Ground, it is England 1, Senegal 1. But Senegal, as Kyle Walker has just gone and caught Malik here, and this is going to be a yellow card for Kyle Walker, who on his 96th appearance becomes the second England player to be shown a yellow card by the French referee, and I don't think he can have any complaints about that.
No, just caught Malik Diouf just a touch late. You've dropped him off. He's caused Kyle Walker and Bukayo Saka problems. Sometimes he's been right up front on the shoulder of Walker as Ismaila Sarr's gone inside and gave Walker something to think about there. The next thing, like on this occasion, he's dropped really deep. Kyle Walker's had to go 30 yards to go and step in and chase him, and just got there half a yard late, Brownie, didn't he, and just caught him.
That's what you're talking about, Joe, about the system and the setup. If you look, Ismaila Sarr is just going inside, and then the fullback's going really high. You're looking for Walker. He's got a difficult for 2v1. On the opposite side, it's exactly the same. The shape's really good. Because the fullbacks are going, Saka's trying to jump up a little bit to try and press a bit higher. The distances are not right.
Yeah, in Thomas Tuchel's defence, this Senegal team have been playing this way for a while. They know the rotations. When Sarr goes in, Diouf knows it's his time to run inside. Kamara knows he has to come deep, and the timing of their rotations have really caused England problems. On the other hand, England, you can see what they're trying to do, but it's a little bit disjointed. The timings aren't quite there yet to really cause Senegal enough problems.
Malik is still getting treatment down below, so you're not missing any of the action. Half-time, Serbia 2, Andorra 0 in England's World Cup qualifying group, Group K. And half-time, Northern Ireland, Iceland in a friendly. John Southall.
Well, Northern Ireland lead by 1-0. A poor half illuminated by a moment of brilliance from Isaac Price, who cut in from the left and curled the ball into the bottom right corner from 20 yards out. His 9th Northern Ireland goal, and that draws him level with George Best and Norman Whiteside amongst others. That's not bad company. Then right on half-time, Ronan Hale on his debut smashed a shot against the bar. Northern Ireland 1, Iceland 0.
2 minutes of a minimum added on time, which we are now into, with England 1, Senegal 1. And I think there's work for Leon Osman, for Thomas Tuchel to do at half-time, Leon Osman.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, whether this 11 come back out in the second half, we'll see that. Whether he wants to give them a little bit more time,
You're going to be busy. You're going to have to get into the dressing room and come back up as well. So
You thought I was
dressing role for you tonight.
Dano thought I was giving the team talk there at half-time, did you?
I did think, as soon as I said it, there's every chance that you'd pick up that, Michael. I'm like a rose between two thorns here tonight at the City Ground. BBC Radio 5 Live, we're in stoppage time. And England have been pegged back by this bright Senegal side. As Koulibaly, on the edge of his area, his forward ball goes straight towards Rice, early towards Gordon. And Gordon, though, caught in possession, and the ball goes back towards Mendy, and the goalkeeper strikes it away downfield. Chalobah, though, heads it out towards Lewis Skelly. Hardly seen Lewis Skelly get forward at all in an attacking sense.
He hasn't been able to. I think the way Senegal have played, Iliman and Jai has caused him a lot of issues on that side of the pitch. He's had to stay back. What Senegal have done is they've not always asked their wide players to go back and defend. They've been brave at times. They've kept them up the pitch, and that means that instead of being able to break forward, Lewis Skelly's having to do a lot of defending.
Harry Kane was away when Stephanie Frappart blew the half-time whistle. He just rolled away from his marker, and much to his frustration, then he heard the shrill of the half-time whistle. Latvia have just equalised in a World Cup qualifier England's group. It is Latvia 1, Albania 1, and that is the scoreline here at the City Ground. And once again, a feeling of dissatisfaction regarding England. Harry Kane gave them a lead after 7 minutes, but Senegal have created a number of fine chances, and they deservedly equalised 5 minutes before half-time through Ismail Assar. So, at the break, Kelly, it is England 1, Senegal 1.
Thank you very much to Ian and to John. And Leon, I thought that word that Ian just used to describe that opening 45 minutes from England summed it up. Dissatisfaction again. Yeah,
especially when you score the opening goal early. We expect then to go on and be able to build on that. But if you're realistic, the actual opening goal didn't come from enterprise and play or us opening up Senegal or being in possession and really creating something. It was from good old-fashioned pressure, getting people forward, getting bodies into the opposition half to win the ball back high up, and that's when we've looked pretty decent. That's when we've looked like we might cause problems. But if you're going possessionally and the two systems working against each other, then you'd have to say the Senegal system seems to be coming out on top. The way the positions they've got players into, the chances they've created have come a lot easier and have been a lot more fluent than what England have tried to create. I'm not completely convinced this system has worked, certainly for Bukayo Saka, who looks a little bit isolated, a little bit lost on this right side of the pitch trying to play high. He's at his best coming in deep and coming lower, and it's not really worked for him and a number of England players.
Yeah, fine margins as we see England 1-0 up. Then there was that glorious chance for Anthony Gordon. Then they are pegged back. It does just show, and we've seen it with England before, haven't we, Michael? They need to take their chances. They've
got to take the chances, and I think that was a defining moment that you've just mentioned. Good ball in across the face, and it's a massive miss. And we've got to look at Thomas Tuchel trying different things. He's been more offensive. He's tried to push forward at the top of the pitch, left two in the middle. But if we'd have put our chances away, we're having a different conversation. Then we've sat in, we've waited, and they've attacked. They've got experience, they've got pace, they've got a way of playing. They've been at it a little bit longer, haven't they? I have to accept there's been a few chances for them, and the goal was coming, and it was a mistake from Walker, which let them back in. But I don't want to be too critical. There's not much in the stats, the possession. We've had more of a go, we've created more things, and they're going to come out and do that the same to us if we're going to do that. I'd rather see this type of game where it's end to end. But yeah, we need a bit more control. But there's something to think about. What does the manager do? We're going to learn from that, which I don't really feel like we learned too much in the Andorra game at the weekend. With this now, I feel like he can look and say, right, well, this is what we can build on, this is what we can change. So I think it's been an interesting first half.
Okay, so we've gone from dissatisfaction to interesting. But Michael, I like what you said there, actually, because learning is a key word, isn't it? That's what Tuchel needs from this game. And actually, we've learned that certain things can work for England, and it is better than it was against Andorra.
Yeah, it is better. I think it's an interesting game. Some fascinating duels at the top of the pitch. You've seen the pace that Senegal have. I think they're working is out a little bit with the two full-backs getting a little bit higher and wide. Someone's in there like the space in between centre-back and full-back. It's difficult for Miles Lewis-Skelly and Walker. You've got a 2v1 with Jackson, who's prepared to to run in behind. And it's been interesting watching Conor Gallagher. I feel like he's pressed, he's had some momentum, he's got into some good positions. So it's again, how do we react? Now what we've seen, what's up against is how can we go on now and develop, change and win the second half and go on and win the game.
Yeah, an interesting tactical battle to ensue in the second half. Finally poised there at the City Ground, then it is England 1, Senegal 1. We'll have the second half of that to come very shortly. We'll also hear from Rory McIlroy, and that's after the news with Nick Hatfield.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. Two Israeli government ministers, Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, have been sanctioned by the UK. It means they face a travel ban and their assets frozen. Israel has called the move outrageous. Here's the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy.
Ben-Gvir and Smotrich have been inciting violence against Palestinian people for months and months and months. They have been encouraging egregious abuses of human rights. We have been raising this with the Israeli government both privately and publicly.
In the last few minutes, we've heard that emergency services are responding to an apparent house explosion in Derby. Images from the scene appear to show the front of a terraced property on Eden Street having been destroyed. People who live nearby described an enormous bang at around 7:45 p.m. Emergency services have yet to say anything about the incident. A 10th victim has died in hospital after a shooting at a school in Austria. There's going to be 3 days of national mourning following the attack in the city of Graz. The suspect is a 21-year-old former pupil who killed himself. Police say 2 legally owned guns were used in the attack. Eric Fry is from the Der Standard newspaper in Vienna.
Austria has gun control laws, but it's relatively easy to acquire guns. So there has been discussions already in the past about tightening the gun laws, and this terrible tragedy almost certainly will steer a debate or whether Austria shouldn't do more, maybe also along the lines of the UK.
President Trump says the National Guard will stay in Los Angeles until there is no danger. Protests broke out in protest at immigration raids. Mr. Trump says LA would be burning to the ground if he hadn't sent in troops. Sir Keir Starmer says a new nuclear reactor at Sizewell in Suffolk will help power millions of homes and create thousands of jobs. The government's announced more than £14 billion for the project. Opponents say the focus should be on wind and solar power. And Eurostar says it's planning to start direct train services from London to Germany and Switzerland by the early 2030s. Journeys to Frankfurt and Geneva would take around 5 hours.
We're going behind the scenes of F1's groundbreaking collaboration with Hollywood in the making of F1 the movie.
To, let's say, convince me, they took me to show me as a first viewer Top Gun Maverick.
As we find out what happens when Hollywood takes over F1.
They were going to have at least 15 different camera angles on the car itself.
We were told, don't touch the cars. Like, do not touch the cars.
F1 back at base.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Kelly Summers.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Well, it's England 1, Senegal 1 at half-time at the City Ground. We'll have second half commentary to come very shortly. But before then, we're going to focus on some of the other sport that's currently taking place. Now, the US Open starts on Thursday at the Oakmont Country Club in Philadelphia. Our golf correspondent Ian Carter is there. And Ian, before we discuss who you've heard from today, now this is a course with a fearsome reputation. So how is it looking?
It is the ultimate US Open test. The US Open, Kelly, is the toughest of the 4 majors traditionally, and this is the toughest of the US Open venues. So I think every one of the 156 players here is bracing themselves for a really very, very stern challenge over the 4 days to come, starting on Thursday. The reason being that the greens are lightning fast, they are slopey, and the rough around them is very, very thick and juicy. It has been a very wet early summer and springtime in the Pittsburgh area, and as a result the rough is really fearsome. The bunkers are horrible. It's just an awful test of golf for these players, but the fans will love it. You know, they will be given, as I say, the ultimate test.
No sugarcoating it there at all. Horrible. But now, as I teased before, it was Rory McIlroy that you've heard from today, and he actually says the US Open is the ultimate test.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you have to have a ton of patience, and then you just have to be unbelievably accepting of whatever happens. You're going to hit shots that you think are going to end up good, and they don't end up good, and it's one of these places that it tests every single aspect of your game, physically and mentally. But I think almost this week, you need the physical capabilities this week, but you also need to be the best mentally. And I keep saying this, but the guy who's the best mentally out there this week is the one that's going to come out on top. Yeah, I probably don't feel quite as good as I felt going into the Masters, and I was on a great run of golf where I won at Pebble Beach and the Players, but circumstances change and things happen, and but I feel, again, like I had a good weekend at home where I did some really good practice and feel like I figured out some things. So, we'll see on Thursday. But I'm encouraged with how everything's shaping up. So, hopefully it's a good week.
Yeah, he sounds pretty buoyant and optimistic there, especially given the fact that he did miss the cut at the Canadian Open last week.
Yes, I think he's trying to talk a good game. I think if you had a dial with Eeyore at one end and Tigger at the other, I would say that the arrow is pointing slightly more in the direction of Eeyore at the moment for Rory McIlroy. I think there is a bit of a hangover from the absolute high of completing the career Grand Slam, winning his first major in 11 years by taking the Masters in April. Obviously, the US PGA last month at Quail Hollow didn't go well. As you say, Kelly missed the cut in Canada as well. He says that he's found something with the driver. He's gone back to an old model. But will that be enough on this very exacting test? I think that is a big question. And my feeling is that there's a question mark. Someone put it to me today. There's a question mark over his drive mentally and his driver physically. And those will be the questions that will be answered over certainly the first two rounds here at Oakmont.
Yeah, it was interesting as well hearing him talk there about the mental battle almost. The fact that it's going to be the player that mentally wins the battle that is going to win.
Absolutely. The USGA who set up this US Open, they like to talk about making the players get every club in the bag dirty, to make it keep using that phrase, ultimate test. But, every shot comes under examination. But also there's the 15th club, the one that resides between the ears. And it's dealing with the adversity, dealing with the setbacks, not being derailed by them. Because one by one, each of these players will be driven to distraction over the 4 days of competition. And it's always the last man standing when it comes to the men's US Open.
Very quickly before we leave you, are you more Eeyore or Tigger tonight?
Oh, I'm always Tigger, Kelly. You've got to be Tigger, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm a bit more Tigger than if I'd have been watching the England game last week. That's for sure. That was very an Eeyore performance. This has been a bit more Tigger-like, I think. That's one of my favourite phrases or comparisons you've ever or anyone's ever used on radio. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You can hear more from Rory McIlroy tomorrow night on 5 Live. We've got a full preview show that's ahead of the tournament at 9 p.m. OK, well, time now to check in on the third T20 between England and the West Indies. The visitors are chasing 249 for victory. Nikesh Ragani is watching for us.
And they're off to an entertaining start here, but they have lost a couple of wickets in the power play. Shimron Hetmyer and Shea Hope are currently at the crease with the West Indies chasing that mammoth total, as you say. Evan Lewis and Johnson Charles, the 2 wickets to fall. Liam Dawson and Luke Wood taking a wicket each early on. But the West Indies still continuing to hit boundaries here. We're into the 6th over and they are 53 for 2.
And there's ball-by-ball commentary right now over on 5 Sports Extra. You can find in-play highlights on the BBC Sport website and app, and there'll be highlights on BBC Two and iPlayer from 11 p.m. Now, the World Test Championship starts at Lords on Wednesday. That's between Australia and South Africa. And the Australian captain, Pat Cummins, has been speaking to Alison Mitchell about what it means to be playing in the match and his love of Test cricket.
It's a little bit different. I think it's a time to reflect on the last couple of years. The core of this group's basically been here for the whole 2 years. And it's quite a, good feat. Every team test playing nation in the world is trying to get into this final. So to make the final in itself is an achievement. So, yeah, I think it's kind of you enjoy it. We've got our families over here as well. And it's a one-off game. So you never quite know what's going to happen. But, I think it's, a good time to kind of look back on what's done well over the last couple of years and, hopefully play well. Lords against a team that we haven't played in about 2 years as well.
Okay, well, you can hear Alison's full interview with Cummins, Alex Carey and Bo Webster on the TMS podcast. That's over on BBC Sounds, and there'll be full commentary of the test on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. That's from 10:45 tomorrow morning. But we're just minutes away from the second half kicking off between England and Senegal. So let's head back to the City Ground and join Michael Brown, Leon Osman and John Murray. Leon, what do you want to see in this second half?
Well, I think that I'd like to see a change of system. I'd like to see England players playing in a system that they're comfortable with, a system that they know. I know that this is the time for experiments. This is the time to see if they can do it. But I also want to see us entertain and win games. And I think Bukayo Saka's been a little bit lost. I think Declan Rice, we're not able to see the game that he's able to show us. And I just feel there's a few players that feel playing with the handbrakes on. So whether we're about to see more of the same or whether we're about to see that kind of change, I think England need to be a little bit braver in possession.
Yeah, the system, a potential problem, Michael Brown. It doesn't look like England have just come back out onto the pitch. I can't see that there's going to be any changes at the break. It doesn't look that way. In fact, I'll tell you what,
the same personnel are there.
Do you think that's a case of giving them the message, giving them 10, 15 minutes or whatever at the start of this second half to see if they can implement those messages and then make the changes?
Well, I think if we look at the players that are out there, I think he can certainly tweak and change certain things, with the team we have. So that's no issue there. Just have a little look, a little bit longer. You might wait for 60 minutes or so and see how they adapt, how they get on. I'm just wondering to see if there is any type of changes, whether say Eze drops in slightly to help the two midfield players.
I was going to say, do you think that system is the system a problem for you as well?
It's a problem when you're not dominating the game. That system can be really attacking. We've seen times where they've come out and done well. We talked about the Gordon goal, the chance where he should have scored on the back post. It was a certain goal, but they've caused us problems in it. But it's the first time we've seen it, so there is going to be issues. So we can get better at it.
And it's a test as well. We wanted England to be tested. They need to be tested, and these are the kind of games, we spoke about it pre-match, that they need. No disrespect to Andorra, of course.
Yeah, we've got to have that test, that ability to change, put you under pressure, turn you around, and we want to control every game for sure, but you have to learn how to do that under pressure.
OK, well, it's time for the second half. Let's get you back to Michael Brown, Leon Osman and John Murray.
Yeah, second half just underway here at the City Ground. England 1, Senegal 1 at the break after England scoring the early goal through Harry Kane, but Crystal Palace's Ismail Assar making it 1-1 5 minutes before the break. And there are no changes at half-time, so it is the same again, both for England, world ranked number 4, and Senegal, world ranked number 19. So England with Henderson in goal had a good first half. Walker, Chalobah, Colwill and Lewis Skelly, Chalobah's debut. Midfield, Gallagher and Rice in the middle, Saka on the right, Gordon on the left, Eze and Kane through the middle, and Senegal with Mendy in goal, a back four of Jatta, Koulibaly the captain, Niakate and Malik Diouf at left back. Then in midfield, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Lamine Camara and Habib Diarra as England go back towards the edge of the penalty area. And then up front, Iliman and Jai, the other Everton man in the Senegal starting lineup on the right, Ismail Assar towards the left, and Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea through the middle. England white shirts with that blue stripe down the sides, blue shorts, white socks, and still a little bit of sunshine on the City Ground on the top tier of the Bridgeford stand. England defending that end, so England attacking towards the Trent end, the two-tier stand between the ground and the River Trent. And here is Gallagher in the centre circle, floodlights just beginning to take effect on this summer evening, and England with Declan Rice in the centre circle. England who have Alexander-Arnold and Gibbs-White among the substitutes, Ivan Toney as well, and England with a long pass from the halfway line from Colwill. Lewis Skelly tries to get there, the Arsenal teenager. He's been put under pressure by Njai. In fact, he's been fouled by Njai, so it's a free kick to England 15 yards inside the Senegal half. Leon Osman.
Yeah, that's what we've got to do to get the best out of the players in this system. We need to try and get them doing what they're good at. And at the start of this second half, a minute and 20 seconds in, Anthony Gordon made 3 runs in behind, and England chose to go sideways each occasion. Saka made a run in behind, sideways pass. Walker made a run from deep in behind, and we chose a sideways pass. If we're going to play this system against a high line, be brave enough to play the ball forward. We'll be able to win second balls. We've got enough players around it.
England with Anthony Gordon coming in field, still halfway inside the Senegal half. Conor Gallagher, the Atletico Madrid midfielder, back to Lewis Skelly, just puts his foot on the ball and goes back into his own half. So that goal from Ismail Assad before half-time, the first goal that England have conceded under Thomas Tuchel, indeed the first goal that England have conceded since Helsinki in the autumn, as Miles Lewis Skelly wins a free kick. Iliman Ndiaye thought he was away from Lewis Skelly, but referee Frappart gives the free kick England's way.
Oh, that's the second occasion Frappart's give a free kick that is a bit of a mystery, to be honest, and it's benefited England, make no mistake about it. But Miles Lewis Skelly fell over his own feet. He wasn't quite sure what he was trying to do, changed his mind, fell over his own feet. The ball rolled to Iliman Ndiaye. It was 2v1. He had Jackson up alongside him. Only Colwill was there to defend it, and the referee, she blew a whistle. Didn't see the decision, but I'm very fortunate. We're very fortunate that she gave it.
Yeah, here is Iliman Ndiaye, takes on Lewis Skelly again, and this time he slipped the ball past him. Lewis Skelly with a block. This time it's a free kick to Senegal, halfway inside the England half. In England's group in the World Cup qualifier, remember this, a friendly international, but Serbia now 3-0 up on Andorra, and Alexander Mitrovic has scored a hat-trick. Latvia won, Albania won in the other match in the group, so Serbia are on their way to their first win in the section. In the other qualifiers, Finland are winning 1-0 against Poland, Netherlands 3-0 up on Malta, and also in the Group H, Romania winning 2-0 against Cyprus, and San Marino 0, Austria 4, the other scores tonight. Northern Ireland still 1-0 up on Iceland in their friendly in Belfast. Senegal attacking down the left-hand side. Here's the cross from Malik, dangerous! And then the shot is over from the arriving Habib Diarra. 10 yards out, maybe closer. Another big chance for Senegal, not taken. Goal kick England.
Just cutting through England with some brilliant play, back to front. Good play off the shoulder of Declan Rice, getting the ball wide. It's a brilliant ball inside of Kyle Walker for Diouf, Malik Diouf, who's been up and down that left-hand side all evening. Enterprise and play. First time cross in again, and it was just behind the two centre-backs of Chalobah and Colwill, and Diarra ran onto it, and if he finishes it, we're talking about a fantastic goal. But it just bounced before him. He just couldn't keep it down. As he made contact, it was always rising. Henderson didn't have to make him a save, and another chance for Senegal. England fortunate to get away with.
Could easily be losing this match now, England. Habib Diarra, the Strasbourg player, the number 6, plays for Liam Rossinia's Strasbourg, set up brilliantly by El Hadj Malik Diouf, the left back, another young player in this Senegal starting lineup. This is better from England though, as Gordon has it on the left and just rolls it all the way across to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker then slips it through, but it's cleared away. He was looking for the run of Bukayo Saka, but the referee has spotted an infringement, and it is
I think she's given handball, and the ball was cleared, blasted from about a yard away from Saka, and hit his gut, it hit his arm as he sort of tensed up, and the referee, she's given a free kick. But it just feels, when Senegal attack, you just feel it's easy for them to break the lines of England and get good chances. I just feel when I'm seeing England attack, it's quite difficult. There's another ball again, breaking the lines of England. And England aren't finding it as easy to do that against this Senegal team.
It's 1-1, 5 Live, BBC Sounds, here at the City Ground, Nottingham. And Senegal knocking the ball around nicely. This is good stuff from them, a sure touch. And then England do win it back, although Gallagher is debatable as well. I thought that might have been a free kick Senegal's way. Rice plays it out towards the right-hand side. Believe it or not, Senegal are just struggling a little bit to qualify automatically for the World Cup. They've got work to do. They're second in their group in the African qualifiers, with only the group winners qualifying automatically. So they might need a playoff, but they have matches to play in the autumn, so they're preparing for that, and also the Africa Cup of Nations, which will be played in Morocco in December and January. Gordon playing it back into their own half. On this evidence, if they don't make it, they'll be one of the better teams not to make it to the 48-team World Cup, which begins 1 year tomorrow, the 11th of June 2026. And tomorrow night on 5 Live Sport, Mark Chapman will be here with the latest in our Destination New Jersey programmes, which continues the countdown to the tournament, which you will hear in full next summer. It'll be here before you know it, Leon.
Absolutely. 1 year today, 1 year tomorrow.
Yeah.
Put it in the diary.
Well, and on the evidence of what we've seen in now the fourth match under Thomas Tuchel for England, there is a lot of improving to do. Here's Walker, Kyle Walker, 96th cap, slipping the ball down the right-hand side. Harry Kane on the right wing, effectively. Gordon comes centrally. Berici Eza. Now Gallagher plays it behind Lewis Skelly, so England have to go all the way back into their own half. Whereas Colwell had to be careful there. Jackson very nearly nipped it away from him. Henderson was quickly out of his penalty area, and then there's Kane felt that he was fouled on the halfway line, but referee continues just says play on. 26,322 is the official attendance inside the ground for the first England senior men's international here at the City Ground since 1909. And actually tonight as well, there are lots and lots of former Forest England players who are inside the ground, or the families of former players, for instance the family of Larry Lloyd and Trevor Francis, because the FA have been handing out the legacy caps this evening as England win it back with Rice on the halfway line. Here's Kane now, two Senegal players around him. Kane keeps possession and then is eventually fouled in the centre circle and reacts and actually walks over and towers over referee Frappard and says, you know, how about that from Lamine Camara with the persistent fouling?
He was frustrated because the last of those persistent tackles wasn't a good one, and you could see he went down his Achilles and he was frustrated by it. But as with a number of England attacks, Harry Kane took too many touches. There was an opportunity when you break the lines and you get in, play a quick pass. Saka's 1v1. He just wanted 2 or 3 extra touches, and by which point opposition are recovering, and suddenly you've got to break down 10 players instead of 1.
England 1, Senegal 1. Let's bring in Michael Brown as well, who's here with us as he was in Barcelona on Saturday night. What are you thinking, Michael?
Yeah, I'm just looking at England and just finding it tough to actually break through now, where before they were going back to front a little bit quicker. The Kane situation where he got caught, I think that play that behind put the slide pass inside, so you have an opportunity to run on. I feel like we're being a little bit safe, a little bit cautious, but so it's interesting how they've just narrowed off them in the middle of the pitch, Senegal.
Eza wins a free kick and Lewis Skelly goes all the way back to Colwell. So John Southall has news on the Northern Ireland match.
Yeah, Northern Ireland still lead Iceland by 1-0, but they're down to 10 men. Brodie Spencer's just been shown the red card for a foul on Haraldsson. He was through on goal. Was he, Spencer, the last man though? To his right was Ballard. He's been sent off, and Iceland have a free kick just on the edge of the D. Northern Ireland 1, Iceland 0.
10 minutes played in the second half here in Nottingham. It's 1-1, and Walker trying to pick out the run of Gallagher, but that was cut out by Malik Diouf, El Hadj Malik Diouf. The original El Hadj Diouf is here as well, if you remember him from, as you probably will, from his Liverpool days, and as well from that Senegal team at the World Cup in 2002. He's a kind of regular presence around the Senegal team, I'm told, as Curtis Jones is being prepared. That's going to be the first change that England are going to make. But on the edge of the penalty area, a turn from Saka, but Senegal are able to win it away and then play it downfield for Jackson. England have got both Chalobah and Colwell there, so this is all Chelsea. Jackson then couldn't find the pass square. Declan Rice was able to intercept, and then Declan Rice takes it down into the right back position, and there is a cheer because the Nottingham Forest supporters inside the ground have seen Morgan Gibbs-White with his England shirt on, the blue number 7 on the back. So Morgan Gibbs-White will get the opportunity to play here tonight, and Morgan Rogers as well, so it's going to be a 3-man change.
Yeah, Curtis Jones as well. Looks like he's ready to come on the pitch. I think England needs something, to be honest. I think it's been not the start to the second half. I'm sure Thomas Tuchel was hoping after he gives his team talk and tries to give the team new ways of breaking forward and creating chances. It's been Senegal that have come out the sharper in the second half as well.
The right back Diatta catches up with it on the right, plays it back to Habib Diarra, who missed that big chance for Senegal to put the African side 2-1 up. Then Koulibaly in the centre circle, the experienced captain, pass out to the left-hand side. Ismail Assar with a run into the box. England trying to clear it, but the referee says that Ismail Assar's committed a foul, and it's a free kick to England inside their own penalty area. So just over half an hour to play. Are we going to see the changes now or not? Players are looking over here. Yes, they are. They're going to make the changes now. What do you think, Michael? Gibbs White, Jones and Rodgers. Gordon's first man off.
Well, I think it's an exciting change, isn't it? Players with energy, ability to drive past people. Gibbs White, I really like him. I think he's growing into such a tremendous player, attracting attention from lots of clubs, and this football club here, Nottingham Forest, certainly love him. So big opportunity, big chance for him, and I think the changes are positive.
So Harry Kane is coming off, and he's handed the captain's armband to Kyle Walker as the oldest man in this England squad. So that is it. He's the last remaining player who's played every minute so far under Thomas Tuchel, and Conor Gallagher. So Kane, Gallagher and Gordon replaced by Gibbs White, Rodgers and Curtis Jones. And with it being a friendly international, incidentally, 6 substitutes per team are permitted. Senegal still with the team that started the match, which I think is fair enough because they've played well.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they haven't made changes yet. I'm certainly not surprised that England have made changes. I think the fact that Harry Kane's gone off and no centre forward has replaced him, no direct centre forward. Rodgers seems to be as close as is going to be. Gibbs White seems to have replaced Anthony Gordon, which is again a surprise because it was Anthony Gordon was the only player that was really stretching this England team with regards to running behind.
So as England come forward now, Gibbs White with a touch. Oh, Morgan Rodgers tried to give it back to him through the middle. Now Jones will have a goal from just outside the D, but the shot was always heading over the angle of post and bar by a couple of yards. But the 3 substitutes involved there in that move, all 3 of them.
Yeah, nearly an instant reaction from the both, and it comes from a positive forward pass from Miles Lewis-Skelly, just rattling it through a very small gap into Eberechi Eze.
So what does this say about Ivan Toney? The fact that Harry Kane has now been taken off. Toney's not got under the field yet in these 2 matches, having been brought from Saudi Arabia for Thomas Tuchel to have a look at him.
Yeah, surprise, because we were talking, weren't we, that he's the only player that hadn't had minutes so far, and we'd probably see him at some point in the second half, and yet he's chosen to go with Rodgers. But I think it's probably more to do with the system. I think it's more natural for Rodgers and Eze to drop in if that's what England are doing, because they haven't really played with a centre forward in this game. Harry Kane's played, but he's not been playing right up there. He's been coming so deep.
Colwill did well against Jackson, 1-on-1, took the ball away but actually ran it out of play. Michael Brown, what are you thinking? What about Ivan Toney? What's Ivan Toney thinking?
Well, he's just waiting for an opportunity, isn't he? I'm just looking, and you just mentioned about the system and the setup. It looks like he's stuck to type rather than change it too early. I think that's possibly why an Ivan Toney hasn't necessarily come on the picture. I see your point, and you're asking why and when. But if he wants to stick with this type of shape and system to have a look at it, this is what suits it. Gibbs White going on that left-hand side. He could have been one who comes more central in that 10 role, or like an attacking midfielder in a different role than down the left. I'm not sure that's the perfect position to put him on there.
So there's no Ollie Watkins, who had to leave this squad, had a minor injury. Solanke wasn't selected. Kane's been substituted, and Ivan Toney sitting on the bench. So it's Morgan Rodgers who is the man through the middle as Senegal play a ball over the top for Diarra to run onto. In the area, shoots across goal and underneath Henderson and in. And Senegal do score their second goal. Habib Diarra, who had a big chance early on in the second half, wasn't able to take it. He makes up for that, and from a tight angle slips the ball underneath Dean Henderson, and it is England 1, Senegal 2, and Thomas Tuchel's England are staring at the possibility of defeat here in Nottingham.
Yeah, and it's probably no less than Senegal have deserved. They've been very impressive in the game so far, and it's actually a really cute finish. I think it's a really tight angle. Once he gets down the side of the 6-yard box, he must only be 2 or 3 yards from the touchline on the angle. You felt he had to square it, he had to pull it back, Diarra, and actually think he nutmegs Henderson in that goal. But he's been a big influence on this game. He's been playing on the shoulder, he's been playing in good pockets, but what he does on this occasion, instead of just playing in the pocket and on the shoulder of Declan Rice, he's actually decided to spin in behind. And I've mentioned all night long the variation they've had to their game. It gives the opposition, on this occasion England defenders, a lot more to think about. Is he going to spin in? Is he going to go deep? You start expecting one thing, and on this occasion he does the other. He spins in behind, completely catches out Gibbs-White, who didn't go with him, completely catches out Colwill, who should go with him in that position, decides that he didn't think he'd go in there, so he didn't go with him. It's just a simple spin into the space in between Colwill and Lewis Skelly. Lovely floated pass. England completely caught out, exposed by great variation to Senegal's play and a wonderful finish.
Yeah, the young Strasbourg player, 4th goal in 11 appearances. He does look like a rising star. And Michael Brown, just as Dean Henderson came out, legs wide apart, just slipped it underneath him.
Yeah, for running such a long way as well. You just see the control, composure when you've gone so far. You sometimes just hit the ball with any sort of momentum just to create something. But what we did see is that run in behind, and Colwill, he's got to see the danger. As a midfielder, you've got that support behind you. Gibbs-White can do better for sure, but I think he's got to spot that. He's got to see it earlier.
Declan Rice, frustrated now, punching the air because a free kick was given against him, sort of flailing arms as he ran with the recent goal scorer Diarra, who went down. And Senegal with this free kick in the centre circle. Senegal take it. Koulibaly drives the pass out towards the left-hand side. This is dangerous. Malik into the penalty area, but the cover is there from Walker. And England now led in this match. Now they've got to come from behind as it's played back to Chalobah.
It's moments like that though, John. We've just won the ball. We've just got into a position where Saka's got it and he's facing forward. Morgan Rogers has made a brilliant run in behind. Saka's got the opportunity to play it, and he fakes and comes backwards and allows Senegal to recover. And now we've got the ball midway in our own half with 11 players to try and beat it. We've just made it too difficult for ourselves so far. 64 minutes in, we've played really slow.
Here's one through the middle for Eze, lovely flick, and then Gibbs-White with a shot that's straight at Edouard Mendy, and the Senegal goalkeeper is able to block it away and out for a throw. What a touch from Eze.
Oh, it was brilliant, and he just does what Diarra did at the other end of the pitch. Instead of coming short from that number 10 position, he just runs in behind, and it's just a long ball, direct ball over the top. He takes one touch and flicks it behind him, all in seemingly one movement into the path of Gibbs-White, who hits it pretty well. I think straight at Mendy, gave him the opportunity to make the save. That could have been a great introduction for the Nottingham Forest man here at the City Ground.
Well, that was what Morgan Gibbs-White must have been dreaming of last night, to have an opportunity like that. Struck it well, struck it with power, but as we said, straight at the goalkeeper. So 25 minutes to go. England 1, Senegal 2, and Senegal with this lead, England facing the possibility of losing to an African team for the first time. Senegal carrying it away with Ndiaye. Going to go for more on the Northern Ireland match in a moment, but Ndiaye is being fouled by Lewis Skelly, so a free kick to Senegal. So what's happening in the Northern Ireland match, John Southall?
Well, it's still Northern Ireland 1, Iceland 0, but the 10 men of Northern Ireland really up against it now. Isaac Price with a clearance off the line from Andre Gudjonsson with his header from 5 yards out. Northern Ireland 1, Iceland 0.
On BBC Sounds, if you find Sports Extra, you will find commentary on the T20 match. West Indies chasing a big score, 249 to beat England. That's on Sports Extra. Senegal 2-1 up. Here is the man who scored their second goal, Diarra, who just taps it back to Diatta, the right back, who catches Eze. And the ball is out of play and given as a throw-in to England, which Diatta can't believe.
I think they all got that one wrong. I think it was a foul to England. I think Eze was fouled. The referee didn't see it. Linesman didn't see it. They did see a touch that I didn't see myself, and we're quite close to it. But England get the benefit again, and England get the throw, and hopefully an opportunity to get the game going, get playing forward. That last attack from Senegal, positive forward runs, forward passes, playing it, causing England problems. England keep going sideways.
England with the ball inside their own half. Colwill goes for a long pass to Saka, headed away by Malik Diouf, and then Rice passes it forward. Gibbs-White lays it off. Eze back to Gibbs-White inside the penalty area, turns, plays it across. Saka controls, shoots, and a very good save by Mendy down to his right to get one of those white gloves, his right white glove to it, just to get enough of a deflection wide and round the post.
Oh, what a save. It starts from a long ball from Colwill. Yes, we didn't get in with the long ball, but Curtis Jones won the bouncing ball. The second ball knocked it down into England players in good positions with only the defenders to beat, and then you've got Eze, Rodgers, Gibbs White able to create something. Falls to the feet of Saka, touch and turn, hits it well. Oh, what a fantastic save that is, just about fingertips it round the post.
So it's a corner that Rice plays back to Saka. Rice's ball in, that's cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Walker heads it out here to the left-hand side. And England have got to be careful here. Rice, as it's won back centrally by Camara, but then the pass was slightly behind Jackson, so the recovering Chalobah was able to put in the tackle. So halfway through the second half here at the City Ground, Nottingham, England 1, Senegal 2 the score. Through to the end now with Ian Dennis.
Well. Senegal 2-1 up. John talks about the last time that they played at the City Ground was 116 years ago. They actually did play in an unofficial game. It was Wales in a wartime friendly 84 years ago that England won 4-1 as a ball goes up towards Eze. The programme was very, very rare that particular day. And on an auction site, it would be fetching for about 500 to 600 quid. This could be a collector's item for those who had a programme here tonight, because England previously have won 15 and drawn 6 against nations such as Algeria, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Egypt, Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, Morocco, Senegal, of course, the World Cup, and Tunisia. But Senegal, and actually spoke to El Hadj Diouf on the pitch yesterday when they were training here, he felt that they could do something, and they've had that belief, they've carried it out, and they are deservedly leading, Leon Osman.
Yes, they are. They've had a clear game plan. They've had some great patterns. They've been positive in their play. Their two midfielders, Kamara and Diarra, I think have dominated them areas of the pitch, both in possession and out of possession. It caused England no end of problems via they playing in the pockets on the shoulder, letting Idrissa Gueye come deep. They've outnumbered England in that area. There's no doubt about it that the system that England have played has allowed that to be the case, and they took full advantage of it in those areas. And England are now trying to make a double substitution just to try and get something to get back into the game.
Well, it's the 2 goal scorers who are coming off. So Papa Gueye is coming on for Habib Diarra, and then Ismail Assar, who got the first goal, is going to be replaced by Cheick Sabali, who's had a very good season for Metz, who've just been promoted back to Ligue 1. He's scored 15 goals this season, so he is coming on. And as John had mentioned, the two managers are allowed 6 substitutes, and this is going to be substitutes 4 and 5 for England, and still no Ivan Toney, who, remember, is the only outfield player who is yet to feature in these 2 games for the matches against Andorra and Senegal. Declan Rice is coming off. Jude Bellingham is coming on for him. And then the other change is going to be Madueke, who is coming on. Madueke, and the player who's going off is Bukayo Saka. So his first appearance under Thomas Tuchel didn't last the full 90 minutes. But Michael Brown-Madueke was probably one of the few bright spots in Barcelona.
Yeah, he played really well, didn't he? He was exciting, he attacked, he pushed it in behind, and certainly one of those who you were hoping you could have seen more of him. Just going back, there's been a couple of bright moments, hasn't it? Gibbs White, since he's come on, made the difference, but
lost the ball again here. Jackson with a shot, beaten out, and it required Kyle Walker just to turn that ball behind for a corner, because Iliman Ndiaye was on the follow-up, and they still carry the greater threat.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham just introduced, just losing the ball. A really poor area for a central midfielder. Suddenly the ball fell to Jackson, and once he did, the 2 England defenders just dropped away, gave him far too much time and space, so he thought, I'll just have a shot then if you're not going to close me down. And actually goes through the legs of Colwill, which does make it a bit more difficult for the keeper to save, but he does it.
Ismail Assar getting a nice little ovation from the Senegalese delegation inside the director's box, and a little pocket of support just to the right of it as we sit here in the main stand. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds with 18 minutes remaining, and England 1, Senegal 2. You'd have to go back to 2019 for the last time where England scored first and then ended up losing That was when we were away in Prague, the Czech Republic. Since then, when England have scored the first goal, they've been unbeaten in 45 matches. They've won 42 of them. However, Senegal, undeterred by that, are leading 2-1 with 18 minutes remaining. Here is Miles Lewis-Skelly, the left back. Ball played by Colwell out towards Chalobah. I mean, this isn't a full-strength England side, but still, Senegal thoroughly deserved their lead. Madueke, that was a poor heavy touch. It was extremely went away from him by a good 2 feet. Bellingham was able to react. Here is Lewis-Skelly, still lots of energy though being created. That was Sabali playing on this near side, the right. Here is Jones, featured quite a lot really for England of late. Featured now in the last 6 games. 4 of those have been starts. The Liverpool midfielder played, of course, in that unfamiliar role at right back in Barcelona, as Jones now just shuffles the ball out towards Lewis-Skelly, and then Jones towards Chalobah, and Senegal drop off. Every green shirt back behind the ball. England playing in their white shirts and navy shorts from right to left. And this now is with this near side for Lewis-Skelly. The cross comes in, and that was easily cut out by the substitute Papa Gay. It'll be an England throw on the left that they take with Jones. Ball played by Jones to Eza, nice touch, strokes it towards the far post, turned behind by Malik for a corner kick. We've only seen flashes of the freedom that Thomas Tuchel wanted to see his players expressed.
Yeah, but Curtis Jones has now come on, and he's that deep midfielder that is not there anymore to defend. He's there to get on the ball and dictate play, and so far he's actually tried to show a penetrating pass. He's actually tried to get it into the important people fast, through bodies, through that first line of Senegalese defence, and actually it's what's got us this attack, getting it to Eze. He can then get turned quickly, get crosses in, so good introduction there from Curtis Jones.
Just a slight delay. Stephanie Frappart, the referee, just having a word as Chalobah is being a little bit manhandled at the moment inside the penalty area. A lot of debris with things that have been thrown down on that far side, the corner. Just wonder if there's a VAR check going on, because there is a little bit of a delay as we wait for the corner to be taken. Another paper ball has just been tossed into the 6-yard area, so we still wait for this corner kick to come in. In fact, that's been kicked away by Jones. So Madueke to take it over on that far side, the right. Madueke curls it in now. It's headed up in the air rather than away. Jackson's downward header only reaches to the edge of the area, but a potential break could still be on here for Senegal, and it is with Lamine Camara, and then Sabali tries to get it forward to Nicholas Jackson, and Lamine Camara both went for the same ball, and yet they've given it for offside. Let's get an update from the cricket. Nikesh Ragani.
Yeah, the West Indies chasing 249 to beat England in this final T20 international, but the wheels falling off in their run chase. They were off to a pretty decent start in terms of run scoring, but they've just lost their 6th wicket. They're now 120 for 6 after 13 overs.
Commentary on Sports Extra. The highlights are available at 11 o'clock on both BBC Two and the BBC iPlayer. We have 14 minutes remaining. I can't wait to hear the interview with Thomas Tuchel at the end of the game. Here is Walker over on that far side. He hoists the ball from right back out to Gibbs-White. Lovely first touch. Gibbs-White infield now towards Eza. Gibbs-White has provided energy since he's come on, the Nottingham Forest player. Koulibaly cuts it out, then gives it away straight towards Jones. Jones plays it back. This is Lewis-Skelly, and now back with Colwell. Leon Osman.
Yeah, again, Curtis Jones trying to get in possession of the ball. I think what is interesting is, I said Morgan Rogers maybe he's come onto the pitch rather than Tony, because he's not going to play right up front. He's going to play in this kind of hybrid role that Harry Kane seemed to be playing for the majority of the game. That's not the case. Morgan Rogers is actually playing like a centre forward, certainly for the last 10 minutes, right up in between the two Senegal centre halves. He's not really been able to get any of the ball. England haven't got him any touches in that position, but he's certainly playing right up there as an orthodox number 9.
England are passing the ball a little bit quicker. Here now is Colwell, who'll come over the halfway line. But where's the movement then as it goes out towards Eza on this near side, the left? Rodgers makes that movement and the ball goes over their head and through towards Edouard Mendy, and then Bellingham is going to try and come around the blind side to try and catch the Senegal goalkeeper out, but he picks it up and he will take his time. Michael Brown.
It's just now, isn't it? The tempo of the passing, the energy is trying to increase, hasn't it, with the substitutions made, but it's going to make us still open to this type of counter-attack.
And the ball is played down the right side and Nicholas Jackson gives chase and he takes Colwell with him. Tried to just shuffle the ball on the inside of his Chelsea teammate. Colwell, though, stopped it back towards Henderson. Clears it long, all in yellow, away towards our right. Koulibaly, though, climbs over the head of Rodgers. There was an opportunity for a quick throw there. Thomas Tuchel was actually on ball boy duties there as the challenge comes in from behind on Rodgers, and it'll be a free kick to England. But the energy levels haven't dropped from Senegal. They have been sharp, they've carried a menace, they've been alert, threatening.
Yeah, and I think the play is now suited, with Nicholas Jackson up top for them to just bounce a ball into him, come back, and what they're trying to do as England's fullbacks desperately go ahead of the ball in search of creating an opportunity to get back in the game. They're just trying to slide him down either side of those England centre-halves, so they have to be very aware of that.
England trailing by 2-1 on 5 Live. Rodgers, early ball in towards Eza. Koulibaly, though, drops inside his own penalty area, brings it out towards this right-hand side, clears right-footed, little flick-back header there by Jones. It'll reach Chalobah, an opportunity for the England debutant to control the ball. Jones now has it in the centre circle and goes out towards Kyle Walker. Walker to Madueke, scuffs at it though first time. At times England in possession, and you're talking about quality players in the Premier League, have lacked composure on the ball.
Yeah, it's not what we're accustomed to seeing, is it? It's not what we expect either. Again, when your players playing even at the top level.
Early ball for Eza, coming across was Niakate against Rodgers. Referee Stephanie Pratt says they got the ball and it goes behind for a corner kick. I mean, he talks about he wants to see them playing with a smile on their faces, and that the shirt wore heavy. I thought we were past that. I really did. I thought that used to be a stumbling block, but I thought we'd got over that with Gareth Southgate.
Well, maybe the positive atmosphere that Gareth Southgate created. I don't think I heard him ever publicly criticise a player in his tenure. That's not been the case, certainly for Thomas Tuchel. Maybe that's making it wear a touch heavy again.
10 minutes remaining. England 1, Senegal 2. Madueke corner kick on the left hand side, and the header off target by Jude Bellingham and drifting well wide. And Edouard Mendy, I think, will have time to even have a little sip of liquid refreshment. No, he opts to pour it down the back of his neck as he waits and takes his time. And there's going to be another Senegal change. Boulaye Dia is going to be coming on. Now for Lazio, I saw him play for Villarreal against Liverpool in European competition, but halfway through a 2-year loan in Rome, had a decent first season, 14 goals in 49 appearances, and he is going to lead the line, and eventually it's going to be Nicholas Jackson who comes off. Nicholas Jackson, who's only actually scored 1 goal in his Senegal career, but Boulaye Dia is on, and it is another change for Senegal for what would be not just a famous win for Senegal, but for the whole of African football. And it would certainly pose a lot of questions for Thomas Tuchel. I think those questions may still be coming, even if they are to salvage a draw, as Gana Gueye out towards that far side, then gets the ball back, the Everton midfielder, forward ball, and now an opportunity for Papagay to run forward, and Papagay shoots left-footed, and it's just wide. Left-footed. Henderson was at full stretch. They've been excellent, Senegal.
They have, but the spaces are incredible. I mean, England wish they were getting to play in the amount of space Senegal are able to play. I mean, they want the ball in midfield, and England's 2 centre-halves drop nearly into their own penalty area. That allows centre-forwards and midfielders to feel like they've got so much space, and it was Gueye who, as you said, picked the ball up He shot from probably 2 yards, 3 yards outside the penalty area. England centre-halves were on the penalty spot, just backing away and backing away. That makes it so difficult for the midfielders to get anywhere near it, anyone in midfield.
Madueke on the right-hand side, sent over across. Koulibaly, though, had gone with a run of Rodgers, and he heads the ball behind for a corner kick. It's one thing to bemoan teams playing with a low block, 4-5-1, as Albania, Latvia and Andorra did, and not create the chances. But you can't accuse that of Senegal, and from my reckoning, England have probably only created 4 good opportunities throughout the whole of the game. 7 minutes remaining, they trail 2-1. Madueke on this near side, the left, in front of the Trent end, left-footed, out-swinging corner, delivered deep, comes off the body of Colwell. Bellingham pounces, and Bellingham with the equaliser. And Senegal, their hopes of becoming the first African side to beat England may have been dashed. Bellingham to the rescue, 2-2.
Oh, he's our hero, isn't he? Jude Bellingham. He's a man that pops up exactly when you expect him to. There is a question of handball within all of this. England will have to get through. Well, there's no doubt there has that ball, which was a decent ball from Madueke, was on the outswing, slung into that area. Colwell, he kind of attacks it, but he just turns his body and sort of comes off his side rather than attacking it with his head. Maybe it's his shoulder. There's the question mark of, did it come off? Because as that ball came through to Jude Bellingham, maybe it come off his hip, maybe it come off his arm. We'll just see another camera angle of it. It didn't come off him. I think he takes it quite well.
This goal should stand, Michael Brown.
Well, it's tight. It's just where Colwell just attacks it on the back post, where they're saying that contact is, as Leon just said, towards the shoulder, top of the arm. This is what we're waiting to see, whether that's the case. It was a wonderful touch from Bellingham as he spun round, but here we go now with the stop and the delay. We might not like the answer here.
Stephanie Frappart has just been explaining something to Kyle Walker, who I assume now has the captain's armband that, yes he does, that Harry Kane has left the field of play.
I will say it was a really good finish from Bellingham. You know, as that ball ricochets round, I mean, Colwell probably made contact 6-7 yards out on line with the back post. It ricocheted to the centre of probably 4 or 5 yards out, and Bellingham just takes it sort of on the half turn. Just see, that is right on the sleeve. Just seeing the replay of it. Well, Colwell, it's right on that sleeve line. She's going to go and have a look at it, the referee. But it's a great finish the way he takes it, Jude Bellingham, on his sort of hip thigh, one touch, volley finish with the second, keeper no chance. It's just a question now on the referee.
The only thing I would say, though, is that the VAR, Mathieu Venice, there must be a degree of subjectivity regarding this, because if it had struck in their opinion, the hand, he would have ruled it out straight away. So he's clearly said for Stephanie Frappart to go and have a look. Now, the T-shirt rule, I think that's more the upper arm going towards the shoulder. If you're wearing a T-shirt, that would be covered by the actual T-shirt itself rather than the arm.
Yeah, there's a few things here. It depends on the still frame. You know, that can always be biased, but also, you know, I think it's the top of the shoulder rather than the T-shirt in the modern game. We've been led to believe it's the bottom of the shirt, but as the fact that all shirts can vary in length, I think it's known as the top of the shoulder now, and I think she's about to disallow this goal.
Yes, the goal has been disallowed, and it is England 1, Senegal 2. There is a wry smile from Thomas Tuchel, so that goal from Bellingham has been disallowed. Ivan Toney, incidentally, is going to be coming on. He is going to get probably 3.5 minutes of normal time and then a little bit of stoppage time to try and make some sort of an impression for his first appearance under Thomas Tuchel. And it means that every outfield player will have been utilised during this international break. Senegal are attacking. Sabali with a cross on the right-hand side. And it was almost into the penalty area for Deer on that opportunity. But in the end, England get it away. Gibbs-White looks for the run of Eza down the line. And it goes out of play. And now we might see who will be coming off for Ivan Toney to come on. And it is going to be Lewis Skelly who is going off. So Ivan Toney goes up front. Rodgers just comes across to get his instructions now from Thomas Tuchel, and they're going to go with 3 at the back in Colwill, Chalobah and Walker. Jones to sit in front, Rodgers playing as a left wing back, Madueke as a right wing back, with then Tony, Bellingham and Eze. That's how England are currently lining up.
You know, the game was nearly taken away from England just from that throw, and England still falling, still fast asleep, as if we had the throw in to take. Senegal just took it, got in behind. It was a brilliant ball from Sabali, just trying to put it inside the shoulder of Kyle Walker for a simple tap-in, but it would have been for Iliman and Ndiaye on that far side of the pitch. But Walker sticks a leg out on the slide just to divert it, beg your pardon, for a corner kick to Senegal.
Lamine Camara, 21-year-old playing for Monaco, bright talent within European football, waits to take the corner kick over on that far side. It's an in-swinger, headed out by Chalobah. Gibbs-White can't get there, it'll go behind for a goal kick. By my watch, we've got 90 seconds remaining, and England still trail by 2-1. Colwill goes back to Henderson. You can hear the groans of despair from the supporters who remain still inside the City ground. Again they go side. The ball has got to surely go forward at this stage. Walker's forward ball, Bellingham is onto it, right hand side over the halfway line, midway through the Senegal half. Bellingham now tries to hold off one challenge. Gana Gueye though picks up the loose ball. Gana Gueye will continue that run, but instead Camara will just turn, hold onto it and falls to the floor, and the free kick will go in favour of Senegal.
Yeah, England should know by now. The referee's been quite fussy all night with regards to contact and just slight pulling of arms and shirts. That was always going to be a foul, and you're just giving Senegal the opportunity just to take a second and just make time run out in this game.
Serbia have beaten Andorra by 3-0. I have to say, there's always been a sort of like a conviction that England would qualify for the World Cup. There isn't a great deal of confidence from the 4 performances so far. The results have been there in the 3 World Cup qualifiers, but with games away to Albania and Serbia, there could be still much work to do for England in that respect, because here Senegal, we'll wait to see how much added on time there will be. 5 minutes of added on time, which we're now into, 5 minutes away from what would be one of their greatest results. And I say that when they beat Brazil 4-2 in Lisbon 2 years ago, but they lead here by 2-1. Colwill at the heart of the England defence. Gibbs-White, nice turn, good forward ball towards Eze, rolled out towards Madueke. Madueke enters the penalty area, just held up fractionally by Malik. He's had an immense game at left back. A lot of talk that Brighton and Hove Albion are watching him. Madueke though tries to get past him, and then it's cleared away out of play for a throw. The Gibbs-White performance, you're left thinking, why didn't he start?
Yeah, I mean, as things have become more desperate, he's been a lot braver. He wasn't as brave when he first got on the pitch, but now when you're asking players to go and do something and show what you've got, that's the kind of performance we need to see from the very first whistle. That kind of bravery to get turned, to be incited, to play forward passes, to break the lines. We've been far too safe in all of Thomas Tuchel's games so far, never mind this one. It's been probably the thing I will take away from what we've learned from Thomas Tuchel's introduction as England manager.
Luxembourg 0, the Republic of Ireland 0 is a full-time score in that friendly, as England have been awarded a late free kick, and we are 2.5 minutes in, a minute and a half in to the minimum of 5 to be played here. We're on air until 10 o'clock. They'll have reflections with Kelly Summers. We'll have reaction with either the manager or England players from down in the tunnel, hopefully before we do go off air. If not, it'll be live. We'll record it then for the Football Daily feed, the podcast, which you can download from your usual source if it's not live. But with 3 minutes remaining, England have got a free kick on that far side. Okay, not much urgency around this. Madueke to take it. Gibbs-White makes a little dart, doesn't spot him, doesn't beat the first man anyway. It's headed out quite comfortably. This is Jones. Jones then loses the ball and the break is on for Senegal, and it's Camera coming forward, and the green shirts are flooding forward, and he pulls the ball and it's slotted in, and Senegal have recorded a famous win against England, the first ever African nation to beat England. Sabali with the goal to make it England 1, Senegal 3. But the amount of green shirts that any one of them could have gone on to beat Dean Henderson, and it was the substitute. I was going to say it stunned the City ground into silence, but it didn't. There were just boos from the England supporters.
Well, that's no less than Senegal deserve. If we're being completely honest, it was a really good goal. England again getting caught in possession. Yes, they put bodies forward in search of the equaliser. And Curtis Jones just tried to do something that the situation didn't merit. Got caught on the ball. Idrissa Gueye does what he does best. He just harried Curtis Jones. He won the ball back and just allowed Kamara to drive forward. The interesting thing was, you're right, the amount of bodies in the middle. 3 players with Idrissa Gueye, who actually won the ball back. He got to the edge of the penalty area as well. 35-year-old in the 94th minute, able to show that level of energy that England just probably didn't manage tonight. This Senegal team have been very good in possession, very good out of possession. They've attacked England in a variety of ways, and that's what's caused England issues as much as anything. They've not known where the attacks have come from, and it's a wonderful, simple finish in the end from Sabali after some brilliant work from the whole of Senegal's team.
Oh, and by the way, Pap Chow, he only took over from Aliou Cissé in December 24, so he has probably had a similar time with these players as has Thomas Tuchel, as there are now a lot of empty, deserted red seats in the City ground. Bellingham forward, it'll make much difference. Madueke with the cross, the header from Ivan Toney is well off target. It was almost coming off the side of his head and went off at a right angle on the edge of the 6-yard area. I'm not too sure whether Senegal will be able to get Abdallah Sima onto the field of play. He's actually been on loan at Brest from Brighton and Hove Albion. He's never played for the Seagulls since they signed him. But by my watch, the 5 minutes of added on time are all but over. And indeed, there is the full-time whistle, a crescendo of boos. Trouble for Thomas Tuchel, but a stunning win for Senegal. England 1, Senegal 3. Leon Osman.
Yeah, an evening where we thought we'd come and see what Thomas Tuchel could do to this England team. The next step of this development of this young England squad in the steps to go on and win some major silverware. It showed that we've not necessarily stepped forward. We've actually come and played a good Senegal side. We've been done tactically, we've been done technically, and we've been done with quality. Senegal deserved to win this game. They showed a lot more. They were better in possession, they were good on the counter-attack. They had real variety to the game that this new emerging England side under Thomas Tuchel just weren't able to show. Well, it's no surprise, it's to the drawing board for Thomas Tuchel. Yes, it's a friendly, and yes, it's the moment when you do experiment, you try and figure things out moving forward, but the experiment didn't work tonight. England weren't at the levels that we've come to expect from this England team, especially in a competitive game where the opposition will have a go at you. Senegal were better, they deserved the win, and England go into the summer off the back of an eye-opening defeat.
Harry Kane gave England a 7th-minute lead, but Senegal created the much better chances. They created a constant threat, and it was no surprise to see them equalise 5 minutes before half-time through Ismail Assar. They then took the lead just past the hour through Diarra. Bellingham thought that he might have got an equaliser with 6 minutes remaining, but that was ruled out through VAR, and then Sabali, the substitute, wrapped it up late on. The England players are going to do almost a lap of appreciation to the England fans who are still inside the City ground, but there are not many of them, Kelly. It's finished here England 1, Senegal 3.
And it is a first defeat for England under Thomas Tuchel. The first goals conceded as well. England lose their 100% record under the new manager. And Leon, Michael, you called for almost a bit of perspective pre-match. We talked about the fact that England and Thomas Tuchel need to experiment. He needs to get to know this squad and work out his best side for the World Cup. But that World Cup gets underway a year tomorrow. This wasn't the result or the performance again, was it, Leon, that England needed?
No, I think we're always expecting England to improve and get better, and we want to see the progression in every game, and we're certainly not seeing it at the moment. Yes, Gareth Southgate at the end of his tenure had a lot of time to work on, patterns of play and get the best out of his England team. Thomas Tuchel's not had a long time. He said 11 training sessions, four matches. But at the moment, we do look like we've taken a step backwards. We hope it's one step backwards to make two steps forwards. But at the moment, this team under Thomas Tuchel hasn't really got going. We come up against a good Senegal side tonight who outplayed us at times, who played really well to a man. They looked like they wanted to come. They looked like they had real belief in the way they went about their jobs and belief that they could win this game if they did what they know they're good at. I think Ian Dennis said halfway through the game that the England shirt looks like it's weighing heavy again. It's been a while since it did that. It's been a good few years since it did that, but the lack of not desire, but the bravery to get on the ball at times, the bravery to play forward passes and risk losing the ball just seems to have gone at the moment, and it's something Thomas Tuchel's going to have to find the answer to if he wants to start making those step forwards.
Michael, as someone who watches England, I'm English, that worries me, the thought that once again that England shirt is weighing heavy, as Leon's just said.
Yeah, I mean, things change so quickly. That's what happens, and that's what I was saying before. Let's try and end it on a positive. Let's not have one of these negative feelings again towards this national side. And today with the performance, I think we also, I always try to defend and try to look after the situation wherever I possibly can. Look at the back four for England. Yes, we had Kyle Walker who made the mistake, very experienced, and the next three along the line, very inexperienced. And the two straight balls for the goals, what cost us, put us under a little bit of pressure. The intensity obviously changed when we made the substitutions, when we had all the attacking players on, doing quick, round the corner, little fast passes. But then once you open it up, I did feel like the way we dropped off, we were a little bit afraid, as you've said. That is the danger, that is the worry. But just look at the celebration down the right hand side. That's what hurts. This is what you don't like, of someone coming here and getting a win like this and seeing what it means to them. I think that's the point, the desire, what they've put in, and the way they've played, the way they've took the ball, and the way they've finished us off right at the end. For the second we were opening up, you felt like that counter-attack was going to be dangerous. It was to get that third goal.
Have to say though, Kelly, full credit to Senegal. They were everything that England weren't, and to be the first African side to beat England at the 22nd attempt is thoroughly deserved. It really is. But talking about the England shirt weighing heavy, you're going back to the days of Fabio Capello, and Gareth Southgate did a lot in particular at trying to take away that burden of that expression. And I just think that some of the comments made by Thomas Tuchel, it's a backward step, because all of a sudden you're almost encouraging the negativity. And I don't think England, from a position where they were, the position was to go forward rather than go back from what England had been, where they'd been challenging in previous tournaments.
I also, Michael, you touched upon the substitutions. That was something that was interesting, wasn't it? And a lot of the question marks after the game are going to be about Morgan Gibbs-White. Should he have got on earlier? He was brave, as Leon said in commentary. Ivan Toney getting, 3.5 minutes of normal time? A penny for his thoughts coming all the way from Saudi. It's a long old way to come to only get a few minutes and see Morgan Rogers go and play up front. There were some interesting decisions that are going to be scrutinised.
Yeah, I think as Leon will tell you, Ivan Toney had come here from anywhere around the world to come and put this shirt on to represent his country, whether he gets on, whether he doesn't. He just wants to try and give everything he can to try and get his career furthered, to try and contribute more, get more minutes, get more involvement. When you have Harry Kane as that number 9, I mean, you're looking and you're going, well, it's going to be tough, isn't it? But towards the end of the game, he could have got more. We've gone to Gibbs White. I think he's wonderful to watch. He's infectious. He does things really quickly. The one on the half turn that he just turned and then drove into the middle and got away. Could he have started? I think in that system it's tough, isn't it, Leon, when you look to say, well, he could have played him down the left instead of Anthony Gordon. That was the tough one.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we'll talk about tonight, tomorrow, over the course of the future, is what he thought of this system, because we're looking at it and don't think it worked. It certainly didn't seem to work against what Senegal were doing tonight. Is that something he's trying to implement as part of what he sees best for this England team, and is he going to stick with this and try and get the players to learn it, or was it just a one-off? Was it that time where he thought, I'll try it and see if it works, and maybe he'll go, right, that was it. It was a one-off game.
What does he do
next,
though? What does he do next in his next approach, Deno? Do you know, when you're actually saying, well, you know, can you experiment, or now do we just need to find a team, a formula?
Well, the next game will be at Villa Park in September against Andorra. So whatever he does, that should be a win. Are you two not surprised though that, because it wasn't working in the first half? We knew that he was going to play with effectively two number 6s, with what he had alluded to yesterday, with an attacking quartet with the freedom to play. We didn't see that freedom.
He could have done Gibbs White for Eze, couldn't he?
Yeah.
To put him in the central, like that sort of position.
We didn't see anywhere near those little flashes of freedom until midway through the second half. I'm thinking, why didn't he change it at half time?
Yeah, within this game, yes, but if he's worked on something in training, or, you know, for months knowing he's going to play against Senegal, where he thinks that's where he'll get advantage from it, he'll give it more time. He'll try and just maybe tinker something, swap personnel around, try and get something from it. I'm more looking at it in the sense of, we've got to the finals of major competitions under Gareth Southgate. Yes, we've brought in a new manager, Thomas Tuchel, who's going to have his own way and style of playing, but you don't want to step too far away what the players have been doing, what's been making them success, what's got you there. You want to just tweak the final bits, whereas we're now changing systems and changing styles, and to something the players are now going to have to relearn, rather than sticking with the style that had been getting us to where we are, the style that all the players seem to know. Bukayo Saka was lost today. It certainly didn't suit him, and he's been our star man for the past few seasons. So why are we changing so much within 11 training sessions of 4 games, rather than just tweaking?
So is that the
bits?
Extra one in the midfield then? Is that what is that what you say? At this level, can you not go with the 2 in the middle?
No,
That's what I'm looking and saying.
I'm not saying that. I think at this level you can actually do anything you want with a bit of time to get the ideas across, and with a system and a set of players that are playing more regular. I just think that if you're, for instance, a top manager and you're going into a club where their manager, for instance, you know, Liverpool, how much did Arne Slot change from what Jurgen Klopp was doing moving into the next season? Because Liverpool were doing okay. He didn't come in with this whole new idea of football. You just tweak little bits, but you keep the idea of what's been successful going. And England having been successful, I expected England to still be playing the same system that they had done for previous few tournaments, but with some slight tweaks. And yes, this was a friendly. This is a moment to try and change something, and that was my question there. Is this the start of Thomas Tuchel thinking, now we need to play a different kind of football and a different kind of system with your 2-4-2-2, you know, we thought it was 4-4-2, but the 2 centre forwards coming really deep and the 2 wide men going, are we now changing the style of play that's been working for us with a group of players that understand the style of play, or was this just a one-off to see whether that worked? That's my question.
But you've seen club managers do it, haven't you? 4-2-2-2 with the wider ones and the 2 central ones drop down, wider ones go higher. We have seen the club managers recently do it in the Premier League and go with it and feel like it works, and that's a shape that suits them, but that would also take time, and the problem we've got is when you don't get the results, the pressure mounts quickly and then you can't get them back again for such a long period of time. We've got riches in talent, haven't we? And that's the hardest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting because I wonder if this performance had come under Gareth Southgate, just what the fallout would be. Harry Kane has been speaking to our television colleagues, and some of these quotes I think are quite telling too. He said, "Not really good enough. We had moments, but we aren't clicking. We're losing jewels." And this is the bit that stood out to me. "We've lost the aggressive nature we had. We just weren't good enough today." Do you think he summed that up quite well, Ian, in terms of they weren't aggressive enough? And yeah, it sounds like Harry Kane doesn't quite know why.
Well, I mean, the two guys either side of me might be better equipped to answer that question, Kelly, but I do think that even in the opening seconds, the alarm bells were ringing, because one of Senegal's first attacks, they went straight through the midfield. They cut through the midfield with ease, and Thomas Tuchel turned around to his bench with his arms open wide saying, how easy was that? And I've just been looking as well, and I only made a note of keeping the England formation for going back to 2016, and I still can't see when an England team started 4-4-2. I was told that was a 4-4-2 formation. I know you might disagree, Leon, but this is a significant change what these England players have been used to for the best part of 9 years, as far as I'm concerned, watching England.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's what I'm saying about moving a long way away from what's been working for the past 3 major tournaments. We're suddenly new manager, new system, new style, and I'm wondering whether that was just, the one-off, or because within new systems and within new setups, as you're doing there, suddenly we're not playing. Our defensive line isn't on the halfway line, which means that your midfielders have got less
Leon,
time to press.
Not that I like interrupting you, but we can head now down to the tunnel, because John Murray's got some reaction from the England camp.
Can speak. Actually, first of all, to the Senegal captain, Kalidou Koulibaly, what a night for you and Senegal and your team and everyone back home.
Yeah, fantastic night. We knew that we could do something on this game. It was a tough game against a nice team of England. We knew that it was difficult, but we showed our personality. We showed that we can play at this level, because the last time we played against England, we lost 3-0 and it was a pity game. But now, tonight, we make a good game. We won 3-1, so we can be happy.
But history, first African team to beat England, the team that played in the very first international match.
Yeah, it's fantastic, We are not used to make history, but we make it with the first time when we won the AFCON, and now we make it tonight. We want to continue to write the story of the Senegal. We knew that it was possible, because we have a lot of talented players who play in Premier League, who play in France, who play in Serie A. So we wanted to show that we have a good nation, and today we did it.
And all after going a goal down too.
Yeah, it's true. And I think it was the same start as last game against England. We lose very early this goal, but after we have the character, the personality to show, and we show it, so we can be happy tonight.
And I do enjoy your celebrations. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you very much, John. Yeah, you can hear in that just what that meant to Senegal, and they'll take a lot from that, won't they, Michael?
Of course they will. You're seeing the celebrations down to the right-hand side. Obviously, they're behind the goal in that top tier. Lots of people just to the right-hand side of the director's box, and the elation on their faces to come here and beat this England side with all the talent that we have. And it was a collective, wasn't it? It was a full team performance from everybody. The substitutions were made at the right time. We've seen desire, we've seen tackles, energy, some unbelievable energy down the left-hand side. Malik just kept going up and down, didn't he, getting crosses in early on, and they're still there now with supporters down the right. But they won't believe that they've gone and won this game like they have, to go and get 3 goals to end it. And for us, it's a real sad, again, situation with the national side, that we keep hoping one day that they're going to deliver this trophy. That's what Thomas Tuchel is here for, and I just think that has been a giant setback this week, because of the result in Andorra was nowhere near convincing, and I felt like changing the whole outcome of the team today was going to be dangerous, and it certainly turned out that way.
Well, the World Cup gets underway, as I said, a year tomorrow. Not ideal preparations. 4 matches into Thomas Tuchel's England tenure. They have conceded their first goals under him, and they have lost 3-1 at the City Ground to Senegal. Thank you to Michael Brown, Leon Osman, John Murray and Ian Dennis. It was a bit better, wasn't it, guys, in terms of performance at least, Michael? Oh, we got some goals.
Leon was ready to go then. He was wishing to say, he was not. I don't mean go home, I mean to come and say, was it better?
In terms of the game, there was a bit of...
The game in the first half, I thought, you know what, let's have a look at it. Let's be brave, let's go end to end. And I thought it was a decent first half of football. Could we have done better? Of course we could. But it was the second half, the way we couldn't find the breakthrough, the way we couldn't adapt. And that's what this game's going to be remembered for.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately I feel we were outdone by a team that was better than us. We all came to expect after the Andorra game that we would be making steps forward. But, you know, is this where we're at now? Are we able to step back and hopefully step forward? Because this, as you just said, is a step back. This international get-together hasn't been anywhere near what we've all expected going into the summer. So it's back to the drawing board, I think, for Thomas Tuchel. Maybe a reassess of what he's got, what the tactics are, maybe even the squad he's put together. But, you know, it's from where we are, we need to find a way of getting back to the top again.
It's going to be a long old almost 3 months for Thomas Tuchel as he prepares his squad for those games in September. You can all go home now, you'll be pleased. Now, I know Leon was already halfway down the stand when I said that. Michael, Leon, John and Ian, thank you as always. There will be more reaction and fallout in the Football Daily podcast. In our other game tonight, by the way, in Belfast, Northern Ireland beat Iceland by 1-0. On Wednesday's 5 Live Sport, we'll continue our countdown to next summer's World Cup in Destination New Jersey, and we'll preview the US Open Golf. Nick Bright is next on 5 Live after the news.
The voice of